Last night we left off on somewhat of a cliffhanger. We got to the desert city of Alarinthia. Heard a bunch of memes. Ulrich finally came clean that he's old as shit. Thousands of years old. That happened. Went to the castle to choose who we wanted an alliance with. The current ruler or the clever upstart who wants to change how Alarintia's run. We sided with them, Vivian, the upstart. And because of how things are done there, we are now in the Colosseum, getting ready to fight with Vivian and Ulrich against Draku and our good friend Pro, and like a small, like, 30 versus 30 kind of fight thing. So yeah. This is why we left off last night. So long series of several cutscenes. The timing was not good. But hey, here we are. Oh, that's going to bother me. I need to lift my cursor over the game on OBS. There we go. And I thought it was in game, and I was just extremely confused. Alright. So basically, we're hoping that we can get through all this without our peoples dying. Let's find out how it goes. Leave the arena now. You've earned it. I enter the lobby with Ulrich and Pro behind me. Okay, there's music. Our comrades are there, and they immediately turn and stare. An odd aura fills the air, but it's definitely an odd situation. Vivian stands on one side of the room, and Draku stands on the other. Ulrich follows me as I take slow steps towards Vivian, my ally in this battle. If I wanted to win, I'd have to ensure that him and Ulrich stayed alive.
So it's finally going to happen. I've been dreaming about this day for a long time. Do your best out there, Monarch. I've got your back. Of course, I have heard rumors about that blade you're carrying. So if you don't mind, I might choose to lean on you for support too. If we all take care of each other, then we'll be unstoppable for sure.
Good thing I know how to use a sword. I hit the button on the controller. How is it that I've managed to do that twice? I did it with my knee. I have a controller just plugged into my computer because just to have it plugged in. Okay, it's a PlayStation controller, and when I plug it in, it overrides my feckin' sound because, of course, it does, because Windows knows how to do audio. I leave it plugged in, so it doesn't do that. But there's twice now that I have nudged that controller, just hit the hide button. I nod, since he's right.
We need to make our way to the other side of the Colosseum. Both groups start on opposite ends and meet in the middle. That's where all the chaos ensues. It'll be pretty hectic.
I'm counting on it. It's been ages since I've seen a real battle. Do your best to stay out of danger, Monarch. Leave this to us. There's no need for you to risk your life unless you need to. Our targets are Draku and Pro. We should do our best to avoid senseless casualties. Vivian's reign should begin with as little bloodshed as possible.
Sounds like a good idea. I nod and watch as Vivian and Ulrich shake hands.
It's a bit of a walk, so let's get started. The battle will start in a few minutes, so we need to be there. Some leader I'd be if I showed up late to my own fight.
He smiles and we break our huddle. I follow him as we make our way to the gates. The weight on my shoulders is immense and frightening. I notice Drakior make his way to my side. He looks me up and down, staring at my blade.
Look,
Whoa.
I don't know if what they told me was true, but if that blade is some sort of ancient relic, don't showboat. Anything other than strength and strategy will be seen as cheating.
Oh.
That blade may have powers to help you out in Maltius, but not here. Do your best to blend in as a regular combatant, all right? I don't want you putting Vivian in jeopardy
That's
out there.
reasonable. I shrug, since I don't really have a say in the matter. I suppose the power of the blade. I suppose the powers of the blade were pretty much cheating. A thrown battle would do little to prove Vivian's credibility. I don't think that's used correctly. Because we would be cheating to win. We wouldn't be pretending to lose, which is what throwing the battle would be. Rigged battle? I don't know, though. I don't know what you would put there. After a trek that seems like forever, we're at our gates. They're shut tight, and I can see another set across from this one. At the other end of the arena, our opponents were waiting, just like us. I look over at my allies and gulp. The crowd is roaring with excitement. Our lives were simply entertainment to them.
Remember, we're fighting for a better future. Our hopes and dreams will carry us to victory, I know it. Of course, Ulrich's sword arm will sure be a big help.
No need to put on the pressure, Vivian. But I know you're right. This is all I've ever wanted. And with you two by my side, I know I'll never fail.
He smiles, but that smile quickly is wiped from his face. The gates begin to open, giving us a clear view of the arena. Leave the arena now. You earned it. We take a few steps outside of the gates and look around. The crowd goes wild, and then that's when all hell breaks loose. The reserve forces rush to the center and create a line of defense.
Stay back, Monarch. Let me and Vivian lead the charge.
Yeah, just make sure to stay out of danger. We can't have our future ruler falling in battle.
Now!
Yup. I stay back as instructed and let them lead the charge. After a few minutes, everybody meets in the center. All I hear was clashing metal and agonizing screams. It's an absolute massacre, just like... I gasp and take a few steps back, anxiety coursing through me. It feels like I'm right back in Rebel HQ. Everyone is dying. I clutch my chest and start to panic in the arena. My breath is short. What's going on? Has this never happened before? What's going on? This has never happened before. I can't escape this. It feels like it's all happening all over again. I shake my head, but nothing helps. I need to stop.
Hey, Monarch. Are you okay?
I'm unable to respond as enemy soldiers close in on me. Draku's reserve forces, our own men, are coming to attack me. Or were they? I had no idea if they'd actually follow through. All thanks to a sudden interruption, I'd never find out.
Monarch!
Oleg rushes to my side and pushes me on the ground. I hit the floor with a loud thud and I'm knocked back into coherence. However, this did little else but redirect the attention to him. With almost a dozen men charging towards him, he stands his ground. Unsheathing his sword, he sizes up the oncoming attackers. One single swing later, and they're all knocked onto the ground. It seems he's shown them mercy as they squirm on the ground injured. I'm not sure what he was calculating, but that was impressive. It's almost like he knew exactly when to swing for maximum effect. It hurts me to see him harm our own, but there was no other choice.
Forgive me, Monarch. It was either them or you. I had to make a decision. Give me your hand. We need to keep things moving.
He puts the sword back. I nod and grab his hand. He helps me back to my feet. I have no idea what just happened. Was that a vision or something else? No. There was no time to think about that. We had a battle to focus on. And it was a battle that we were winning. We pushed the opposing forces back towards their side. After a few minutes of battle, they're almost backed into a corner. We had them right where we wanted, or did we?
No!
Just when we think we'd have the upper hand, Draku plays his trump card. His forces spread out and quickly run around our flank surrounding us. We weren't quick enough to react, we're all too close together.
Stay close, Monarch! This must be what Draku was counting on. If we can break free, then victory is surely ours.
They take slow, synchronized steps towards us. We all look for a weakness, but can't find any. In a few minutes, they'd close in on us.
The strategy, it seems desperate. That means he doesn't have anything else up his sleeve. Get us out of this, Monarch. Use that blade if you have to.
They raise their blades and ready themselves to attack. They're still far away, but that's enough to intimidate us. I reach for my own weapon in response and unsheath it. I take slow steps forward, matching their synchronization. They stare at me, confused, and some of them even scoff at me. This was my choice, my chance to shine. I had to save us all from this trap. Gripping the blade tightly, I try and figure out how to activate it. As if sensing my instinct, the gears in the blade start spinning fervently. I raise it up in the air and demand that the blade assist us in battle. Immediately after that, a flash of white light overtakes the arena. Just like every other time the blade has been used, as if that's its call. However, this flash of white light subsides almost as soon as it began. It seems to leave everybody in the arena blinded. They stagger back, waving their hands over their eyes. Flashbang them. God damn it, WikiHows. Unable to see. Well, we cheated. In their confusion, they step back, revealing a gap in their formation. And that gap is exactly where Draku now stands. With my comrades also blinded, it might just be up to me. I grip the blade and watch Draku panic in his sight-robbed state. The crowd grows silent, almost in awe at what's going on. All eyes are on me. They know I used my blade to do this. I gulp, unsure if I should attack or wait for their sight to return. I don't want them to think I'm a coward for using... who needs to disarm their foes. With so many people watching, I need to consider what image I give off. I would be in the highest seat of power after this war. I need to think. I think this is a pretty obvious choice. Yeah, I'll go ahead and save here, it doesn't matter. Just because of what Drakior told me, he said, hey, don't do fancy things, so I'll wait. No, I couldn't rely on the blade to win this battle. It was cheating. Breaking through this attack was enough to put us back on equal ground. That's all we needed to win. We wouldn't get caught off guard again. I prepare to sheath my blade, but then everything changes. I feel a grip on my shoulder, preventing me from moving at all. Turning to face the source of the intrusion, I tremble in fright. It's Ulrich.
Sorry. I can't have you getting in the way. I have to do this, Monarch. Please forgive me.
Oh, he was going to stop me anyway. Choices don't matter. The grip on my shoulder tightens into something more crushing. His aggression is clear, and for the first time, I'm frightened by him. He holds his blade up and repositions his hand to use the base as a weapon. He smashes it against my face repeatedly. I scream and fall to my knees. Blood pours from my nose. My vision gets hazy. Why did you boop? Why you aggressively booped my snoot? I fall to the ground completely. Looking at the gap in the enemy forces, I see Pro step through. He holds a dagger out at Ulrich, who holds out his blade in turn. The light still blinds most of the other fighters, making this a one-on-one battle. I reach out and try and stop them, but it's no use. They immediately charge at one another. Pain radiates through my entire body, and I'm almost unable to focus. Their weapons clash again and again, and I finally see Pro fight. He dodges what's great. It's almost like watching the moves of a dancer.
Give it up, Pro. This is what I was meant to do. Changing Alarinthia means everything to me.
I can't let you win, Ulrich! We need Draku's strength to take down the Triumvirate! You can always come back and change things after the war!
He has a point. I also had I had the thought earlier today, as you do, like when you're not focusing on something, your brain like figures out puzzles in the background or whatever. I had the thought that I think the two of them clearly were planning something. It could very well be all of this. This could all be a charade that they're all putting on. Or Ulrich gave him a different, like, plan, and then Pro came up with something in turn, and that's why, like, and that's maybe why things are the way they are. I don't know, it was just a thought that I had. It was just like, oh, this is, because, like, I'm still mostly convinced that this is just a ruse that they're putting on. But then it occurred to me, well, maybe it's not a ruse, and they were planning something different, and then Pro just decided to come up with this, like, over, like, the travels or what have you.
Never!
They continue to fight, ignoring each other's pleas. But they'd have to do something quick. The other soldiers were shaking things off. I keep trying to crawl towards them. Their battle was with Vivian and Draku, not each other.
Are you really willing to die for this? Think about what Draco can help us accomplish!
If the choice is between fighting alongside Draku and death, then yeah, I'm willing to die for this, Pro. But I have to ask, are you willing to kill me in the name of my enemy?
Yes, of course!
No, I got stung by a bee. He looks nervous, like Ulrich is calling out a bluff. He takes slow, intimidating steps towards Pro. In response, Pro starts to panic and step back.
If you're willing to kill me, then do it! Show me that our friendship means nothing to you!
No, you.
We're family!
It looks like Pro is about to cry.
No, that's just an excuse you made up.
Why are you saying this?
So he can detach himself and kill you with a clear conscience or something.
Because I don't believe you're willing to kill me. But I stand here, ready to kill you at a moment's notice. That need for friends and family to be loved, that's your weakness.
That's just lonely, Ulrich.
All I've ever wanted was to change this nation for the better. You, Tomek, the monarch, you're worth less than pawns to me. So I'll give you one chance to kill me. Take my life, or lose yours.
Now raise your weapon or drop it.
Ulrich, stop!
Yamete, Ulrich! In response, Ulrich readies his blade and steps closer to Pro. There's nothing I can do anymore. I'm practically choking on my own blood. Any weak cries I emit would be easily overtaken by the chatter of our audience. A chatter that soon turns into roaring applause. Pro lunges forward to attack Ulrich, but he quickly counters. Gripping Pro's arm, he quickly seizes the dagger from him.
That's the way it is, huh? You're full, Pro. Always were.
Throwing his own greatsword on the ground, he stares into Pro's eyes, and then they kiss. Pro trembles in fear, realizing that he's played right into Ulrich's hand. He'd dodged Pro's erratic attack rather than launching his own.
Ulrich, let me go!
He holds Pro firmly in place. He closes his eyes.
Sorry it had to come to this. But know that your death will create a better nation. And hopefully, that will lead us all to a better world.
He plunges the dagger into Pro's gut multiple times. The look on their faces remind me of Shane and Dominic. Though something tells me that Pro wouldn't be as lucky. I can hear him cry and whimper as he falls to the ground.
Looks like you were finally good for something.
Wow! That's the last thing I can remember. Coming to grief and agony, I slowly pass out. The crowd goes wild as soldiers finally overcome their blindness. They're greeted to the sight of a victor, but I only see a man who lost. An empty victory, and one we would surely never fully recover from. Crying at our loss, my vision fades, as I lie in a puddle of my own blood. Strength over words. Is Pro just fucked? What a time to resub. Hi, Hoodie.
13 whole flaps.
13 whole flaps indeed, and thank you so much for the resub. Welcome, welcome. Working on year 2 now. I'm really curious to see how this goes when you're on Pro's side. I'm assuming Ulrich would die. I don't know. My eyes slowly open and I find myself back in the Coliseum private chambers. Pain radiates through my head, pulsing with my heartbeat. It's almost unbearable. I notice some empty vials on the nightstand, and an odd taste in my mouth. Painkillers. Alessa and Fortim sit on chairs beside the bed, watching me intently.
He's waking up.
Fortim immediately rises from his chair and runs over to me. The worry on his face is clear, but everybody breathes a sigh of relief. That is, except for Ulrich. He stands in the corner of the room with his arms crossed. After what he just did, I'm not surprised that he acts distant.
We were so worried, Monarch. We didn't know if you'd recover. Ulrich did some damage. Your nose is broken, but if you give it time, you'll be totally fine.
Oh yeah, so to catch you up real quick, Ulrich bashed me in the face with his sword. He boofed my snoot too hard. So that way he could, kill Pro. Upon hearing this, Ulrich rolls his eyes. I can't believe it, but Pro was dead. Ulrich killed him. Our alliance with Vivian was secured, but was it worth it? That is not a question I could possibly answer. On one hand, that sacrifice could ensure the safety of millions, but we were comrades. Bonds complicate things during a time of war. And there was no time to grieve either. We needed to prepare for Voltaeus. I let my legs dangle off the bed and find their place on the warm stone floor. I can sense a denial in the air. Nobody wanted to talk about what just happened.
So, what's the next step?
It was more like, here's my greatsword. Here's the hilt of my greatsword. Max, 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 max. It wasn't a 1-2 punch. He used a feckin' hilt of his sword. He could have caused some serious Dane damage. Dominic enters the conversation.
With our alliance finalized, we need to head back to Museo. After some swift preparation, we'll launch the assault on Balteus. This is it. We've come away from this with more soldiers than ever.
Oh. Badge. That's why I saved. I wanted to see if he was there or not. Empty. I wonder, was this an important choice? Did I kill Pro? I'll let this. Oh no, don't overrate. I'll let this play out and I'll go back. I'm genuinely curious if just because like the way that kind of happened, like I feel like in the same moment the same thing would happen, or it could be like no. Like the way it was written, I guess, made it feel like it was a choice that didn't matter. Like Ulrich was going to stop me no matter what. Anyway. Hal steps forward and enters the conversation as well.
The Triumvirate would not expect us to recover this quickly, but here we stand, stronger than ever before. We can win this war. We would advise not mulling over this sacrifice. It secured us victory.
Yeah, Pro may have not sided with Vivian, but he sided with us. We're still going to secure the future he was fighting for. Alestia's future. He was a dear friend, and this loss will give me more power, more resolve.
A good outlook. Wasting time to mourn could cost us this entire war. We must make our way to the docks and meet with Vivian. Focus on the things that are within our control, Monarch.
Why not? A suggestion born from denial, no doubt. However, despite its origins, it was a good idea. We still have business to take care of, no matter what. I stand up, getting out of bed, and everyone looks worried. They brace themselves to catch me in case I were to fall over. I stumble slightly, but I'm fine. I think I was ready to get things moving.
So, should we just start walking to the docks? Let's make sure to stock up on lots of water. The journey back isn't going to be any easier.
He gets ready to leave before Tim interjects.
Whoa, hold on a second here. Before we go, I have a question to ask.
He looks over at Ulrich, who exchanges an awkward glance. She's looking to his top.
Ulrich, why did you do this? You could have waited and went after Draku!
He was the weakest link, dum-dum. Everyone looks shocked, but I know it's something we're all thinking. Without a single word, Ulrich shakes his head and walks out of the room.
Hey! I asked you a question, you coward!
It's no use. He's already long gone. Likely to the docks, as I know he wouldn't abandon us. As bad as his actions were, he still seems to serve our cause.
For Tim.
I know we have an alliance or whatever, but who cares? We lost one of our friends.
Everybody
Why
is sad.
Nobody even sad.
Everybody is sad for Tim, but they're just better at hiding it than you.
We'll have plenty of time to grieve after this war is over. lost plenty, and I'm sure we'll be losing even more, but if we give up and mope around, we'll lose everything. We're not forgetting about him, Fortum. We just have more important things to focus on. Let's get to the docks. We can talk more on the trip home.
That's part of the problem, Valessa. I don't even know what home is anymore. It was Valenorth and then Mazeo, but everything around us is getting destroyed.
He's just venting
I
at this
thought
point.
home was being with our friends, but now they're dying, Valessa.
Nobody knows how to respond to Fortum's words. An awkward silence fills the room, but he gets the idea.
Fine. Forget I even said anything. But we were betrayed, plain and simple, by one of our own. It may have gotten us an alliance, but it's still a betrayal.
I don't know if he's depressed or angry. What the fuck? Yo, there's a cat outside. I can't. They run away. I do feed them sometimes. Oh my god. I'd definitely set up a cat cam if I had one.
And in my books, people like that deserve to be punished. So you can push this aside or whatever, but I won't. This is a crime that needs to be answered for.
Yo, I think the camaraderie between Ulrich and Fortum might be dead. This might be your opportunity, Hoodie. After saying that, he storms out of the room. I suppose he was right, but it's really not that simple. There's no point in arguing. However, we all start to leave.
Well, I guess maybe venting like that could help. Let's just get it out of the way while we're walking, alright? Every moment we waste makes our enemy more prepared.
Everyone seems to agree and we shuffle out of the room. And so begins the long and arduous journey back to the docks. However, instead of hope, this trek will be filled with a feeling of despair. Stop with the Danganronpa, please. I mean, maybe it's just that game. Because it's like, that was it. It was literally what the game, like, the killing games were. It was literally hope versus despair. And so that's all I can ever think of when, like, they come into play, but I don't know, it's probably just me. What the fuck? Oh, I skipped the fade out. Our entire party remains in silence until we arrive at the oasis. Having gone through all of the water, we needed to fill up immediately. We're all sweating, clearly exerted by our journey through the desert.
Well, it's time for a brief break. Let's get some water and then head back to the docks. If I remember correctly, this means we're halfway there.
We all nod and start filling up our canteens with water. But while I do, I pay attention to what's going on around me. Ulrich makes sure he's standing beside Fortum while he fills up on water. Fortum notices this and seems visibly angry. That's totally understandable, though.
What do you want?
I just wanted to apologize, Fortum. You'll understand.
There's always a choice.
I had no other choice.
There's no way you're sorry, Ulrich. I saw no hint of remorse on your face when you killed him. And even now that you're apologizing, you don't look sad at all.
Yeah, he does kind of look miffed.
That's not true. I'm being serious here.
Well, so am I. Just leave me alone, Ulrich. We'd all be better off without you.
Oh, don't say that! Oh god. The bottom is rejecting his top. Ulrich takes a step back, hurt by Fortum's words. If he wasn't sad before, then he definitely is now.
Fine.
He walks away from Fortum, considering the conversation over. As harsh as Fortum was, I think he's saying what's on a lot of our minds. Almost everybody has been treating him with disdain since the battle ended. After we're all done gathering water, Fortum approaches me. He looks so conflicted. After all, he's the only one being vocal about this situation. Especially after his outburst just now, he's starting to wonder if he's being too emotional.
Come on, Monarch. You have my back in this, right? What happened was way out of line. I know that everybody is focusing on the war right now, but I can't do that. This is just too much to take in. What should I do? Are you going to forgive this?
Yes, everybody deserves a chance at redemption. I don't think I could ever forgive a murderer of a comrade. I'm shocked. I don't know what to think right now.
Maybe I'm just processing this faster than anybody else. I know it's hard because of how close we all are, but a crime is a crime. Plain and simple.
But that wasn't a crime. That was like that was like regulated tournament fight. That's like the opposite of a crime. That should have rules and regulations.
Friends shouldn't get a free pass to commit atrocities. I don't care if other people forgive him. I never could. He needs to be punished, like any other criminal.
I shrug, unsure of how to respond to that last part. He did kill a comrade, but it secured us a powerful alliance. We have to wonder if such actions cancel each other out. One life gave us all the power we'd need to win this war. But at the same time, is it right to reduce a life to something like that? A bargaining chip on some sort of table containing all of our lives. This is something we'd have to talk about as an entire group. I may be in charge, but this affected everyone, not just me. That is why that's what I let Fortem know. It's the only right way to handle this.
Alright. But just take my advice. Don't do it while everybody is still in shock. Let them process these events and form an opinion.
I nod. It seems like they are all ready to continue. Since we're halfway to the docks, we'd have a long time to think. But something tells me we'd have no time in the world, or something tells me no time in the world will let us sort this out. Yeah, because we're going to have somebody else waiting for us at the docks. A fluffy boy. My head throbs as the painkillers start to wear off around the oasis. My coherence fades in and out, though my body still moves. I'm barely conscious. Before I know it, we're already back at the docks. However, I didn't miss anything of note. What surely took a portion of the entire day seemed like mere moments to me. Nice fast travel. Our group scatters out, but not too far. We're all within earshot of each other. I notice our new ally is waiting by the ship, and Dama quickly approaches him.
Vivian, there you are.
How did you
How does it feel to be the one in power?
It's hard to believe, actually. I expect that it'll set in after the upcoming battle. I'm a man of my word, so I need to help you out first.
Wait, don't tell me you're coming with us. Don't you have things to take care of over here?
It's nothing that can't wait a few days. The attack is happening pretty soon, right? I can leave things in the hands of a few friends for now.
But if we get a dragon... I'm kind of committed
Fair
to
enough,
Dominic,
and
though.
yeah, you're right. We plan to launch the attack within a day or two. Once we get to Museo, we need to take care of business.
Do they have their own fleet to, like, follow us back with?
I mean, final goodbyes and stuff like that. After we leave for Balteus, we might never return. We need to make sure that we leave with no regrets.
Have a little faith, Dominic. If anybody can take down those gods, it's us. We just overthrew an entire nation. I think that's a good sign.
But at what cost? That moment we're interrupted by the last person I thought I'd ever see.
Gods? Don't make me laugh. You know just as well as I do that they're weak, like us. The true power rests with the one who can wield that blade.
He's here. I think he wants to talk, given the previous skit. We all stop what we're doing and look toward the source of the noise.
Terribly sorry to intrude, but I need to have a word with the monarch. If you'd be so kind as to give us some privacy, I'd be forever grateful.
It's Sovi. I immediately assume a battle stance. Fright quickly overtakes the air. This was bad. I'm not sure who remembers him from the Rebel HQ, and I'm not sure if all of my comrades have seen him before. But they heed my warning and assume stances similar to mine.
A hostile greeting. I don't blame you. You're only treating me the way I treated you.
He takes a few steps forward, and I do so as well. I notice that he looks at Dominic, a man that he thought was dead. A hint of emotion shows on his otherwise cold face as he does this.
So after this hostility, I expect mercy. Remember, if it weren't for me, you'd be dead.
He immediately gets on his knees to hold out his wrist.
I submit to your authority. Restrain me any way you wish. I only want to talk. When you get back to Mazeo, we can go our separate ways.
I am shocked by his action. I expected another fight to ensue. I look around at my comrades, unsure of what to do in the situation. It was clearly a trap, right? What business would he have with us?
Vivian, restrain this man immediately. Take him to the brig and make sure he can't escape. He's unarmed and alone, so do it before he starts anything.
Vivian does as instructed, as Ulrich takes matters into his own hands. It was probably for the best. He seemed to know Sylvie better than any of us. Sylvie had no allies present, and no honor guard soldiers. Right now, he was weak.
Once we set sail, come and talk to me, Monarch. I have some information that you might want to hear, including the true identity of the mole among your forces.
He's dragged away with what I interpret as a sinister smirk. It's likely that he couldn't be trusted. That's obvious psychological warfare. Turn us against our own friends, and we destroy each other from the inside. An obvious attempt to sabotage our impending attack on Balteus, whatever. But if we restrain him and keep watch on him, we'd have a valuable asset. The Triumvir's own Grand Inquisitor. That would make a fine bargaining chip. Pop is now a sub. Does that just make him a switch? Oh no, he's been a sub this whole time. Because he's been a sub to the Triumvir. And he just lost his top. That's it. That's all that it was.
Sorry about that, but we need to get out of here and fast. If we stay in Alarenthia any longer, they might figure us out. And Sylvie definitely can't hear what I'm about to tell you.
Figure us out? What does he mean? There's worry and paranoia on Ulrich's face.
Come closer, everybody. I'm afraid that I've been keeping a secret from all of you. But it's not just me. Hold on a second. You'll see what I mean.
We look around, clueless as to what he's talking about. But following his instructions, we all inch our way toward him. He tilts his head to the side, looking behind one of the nearby trees. And what happens next leaves us all speechless in utter shock.
You can come out now.
So I was right. And then from behind a group of trees steps out a man. They have a cloak covering their body, which they slowly drop to the ground.
Oh man, it's about time. There's nothing I hate more than hiding. Sorry for worrying all of you, but we had to do it.
So, a man. There is a man. Do you take it? So it was a ploy the entire time. Okay. Nice touch game on removing him from the party. So, how'd you do it? Pro and Ulrich high-five and give each other a tight embrace.
Yeah, I'm not the best actor, you know. I think people were starting to see through our lies.
Before Pro can do anything else, he's bombarded with hugs from our comrades. The man they thought was killed in cold blood. No, it wasn't cold blood. He was... That was like the opposite of cold blood. Anyway. Received a man. Hands before them. I'm shocked, confused, but a little relieved. What's going on here?
Hey, come on! Cut it out! It's enough to know you missed me. But we really need to get going. Fast.
Yeah, if they find out we cheated, we're done for. I know you want an explanation, so let's talk about it on the ship. We should set sail right away so nobody catches on to us.
They start to walk toward the ship, but Dominic stops them.
Wait, you cheated? How are we going to break this news to our new partner? If they find out, they might just break off our alliance.
I don't think they care.
It worked out in their benefit, so I doubt they'd care. Let's get going. We'll explain the story on our way home.
I'm so confused.
Don't worry about it, Domek. We made it out of this without any casualties, really. A few members of the reserve forces died, but that's it. Thankfully, none of our seers fell in combat. We have more strength than ever before.
Awesome possum.
That's what matters. Attacking Balteus will be as easy as the snap of a finger.
Snap.
All right, then, I trust you. But you better have a good explanation for this. Let's get going, everybody. We have a long voyage home.
Ulrich, Dominic, Ulrich, and Pro all get on the ship. I start walking over with Hal, Valessa, and Fortum. They seem happy, but just as confused as I am.
Cheating is not something we agree with. Such tactics are what our current enemy employs. This journey seems to be changing all of your values.
But he's still alive. That's great news. I was really freaking out. I didn't know what to do. Don't tell me you think it would be better if he was dead.
Maybe. Means to an end, we suppose. The enemy likely thinks the same way.
With that, he walks away and gets on the ship. Valessa and Fortum both turn to me, happy.
Let's go find out what they have to say. I'm also curious about that other man we restrained. There's so much going on right now, I can barely think.
Oh, yeah, no, like, I'm like, other than Ulrich, I think I'm the only one who knows who Sylvie is. People may have heard of him, but, also there's a level of irony to this, too. So, does Pro have Shadow Clone Jutsu? Or did they just use a lot of ketchup?
Yeah, I want to figure everything out. I was worried we'd be attacking Balteus without all of our friends. But to know he's still alive? I can't even begin to describe the relief.
Depending on how they explain it, it may have just been better off if he was dead. Because if it's just like some contrived bullshit, then it's just really gonna feel like they just kind of cheated like in an important moment. You know? I wonder if he would actually properly die if you, like, didn't interact with him, or you're just mean to him. I wonder how, like, being mean to your allies affects the game. We make our way to the deck of the ship, but Valessa's words stick with me. Everything was moving, so fast I almost didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, we had a long trip home to figure everything out. And that was my goal. We get back to Mazeo with no questions left unanswered, no matter how shocking the answers were, and whether or not I regretted learning them. We seemed to be running on everybody's agenda but my own. Everyone had their own plans. It was time... turning the tables. It was time for that to change. Oh. There was a man. Do you take it? Yo, Pro is back. Oh, he's in the wrong order now, though. What have you done? They better have a damn good explanation for it. He just has a twin brother. That would be funny, but I don't think there is anything that they can say to explain this to not rectify it. Like... Just pull the trigger or don't do it. Okay? When we all get on the ship, it starts to set sail within moments. It seems that Ulrich and Pro want to expedite our departure from Alarinthia. They continue to look at us with smiles on their faces. To themselves, they have succeeded. But in what exactly? And that's what I demand to know as I step forward. If I was in charge, I couldn't have them plotting behind my back. Everyone gathers around to listen as our ship gently rocks back and forth. Though relieved that there were no real casualties, we needed to know what we got into. If they wanted to leave so fast, was it so bad we could never come back to Alarinthia?
Whoa, it's not that bad, trust me. But it's definitely the biggest score of my life. I mean, swindle an entire nation? Amazing!
Now that's the one thing that does like almost always bother me about visual novels that do not have like your character actually saying things. Like, what did I say there? Like, did I say that last line of, are we not allowed to go back there? Or have I been speaking everything that has shown up for me? Just some quotes or something. That would be nice. He continues talking, his pride apparent.
It all started after the attack on our HQ. Domek cheated death, and we rose from the ashes. Then, we were going to Alarinthia, where I knew we'd be fighting. So I thought, what if we could cheat death again, but to our advantage? There was so much room for error that we stepped in to even the odds. I knew that Ulrich would side with Vivian regardless, so I went to him.
I didn't want to work with Pro at first. It seemed like a plan doomed to failure. Could we really cheat an entire nation, right in front of their own eyes? Obviously, it sounds impossible, but Pro was pretty insistent.
I have a damn good reason.
He came up with a solid plan. I'd fight with Vivian, and he'd fight with Draku. If we were both on opposing teams, we could throw the battle in any direction. So that's what we did. We ensured victory for the side the Monarch chose.
It was easy enough to manipulate Draku. I mean, he thought he was the one manipulating us. But it was my plan all along to fight by his side. After that, all we needed was this.
Ah, some Phoenix down! He holds up a dagger, one they used in the Colosseum. Stabbing it through his hand, the true nature of the weapon was revealed. Rather than piercing his hand, the blank stuck into the handle. It was a fake! He God damn it. Okay, so yeah, they did use a lot of ketchup. At least it wasn't like an ex machina. But...
along with some chaos and acting, they'd believe the battle was over. The chaos, of course, was the moment the Monarch used the blade. We pushed you toward using it so we could have our opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really all there is to it. None of you could know until it was already over. If information was leaked, everything would be for nothing.
Oh, because I also flashbanged the entire crowd. Right. Wait, there's no way I didn't flashbang the crowd. Lucky.
You're free to come back to Alarinthia, but we might stay behind. It was just in our best interest to get away before they figured things out. So yeah, a new alliance, minimal casualties, and a great story.
Fucking boy dagger. Yeah, I flashbanged the nation. I guess that's true because there's probably very few people who weren't attending. Ugh. I'll be honest, this is a pretty funny explanation because literally it was a fucking child's toy that they used to do this. And I guess it's not like it's an ex machina. Because... I don't know. You're on thin ice, game, I guess. No, still doesn't make up for it, I think. It's funny. I'll give it that. It's pretty cheeky. What about the ketchup? And if I had sided with Pro, I mean, it's not like Ulrich is wearing armor. Like, you would definitely be able to see, like, where Pro would have stabbed the shit out of him. I just realized they did have, like, a small hint for what actually happened set up in the one room. When you go to, like, click on the book. It's like, oh, it's a dagger. And then Pro freaks out and then takes it. Like, oh, there's something special about that dagger. Thinks nothing of it. Though that said, I thought it was a ploy the entire time. I just didn't know how they were going to get away with it. Actual war casualties is based on the... Yeah, 100%. Okay, well, actually, no. I have two theories. Either one, it's going to be like feckin'... Not House of Ash. Dark Pictures Werewolf Edition. Where everybody fucking dies at the end. Or can die at the end. Or nobody dies. That's what I'm thinking. Like... all of the deaths are backloaded, or there's just no death at all. That's where my mind is.
I'd say this was an all-around success, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I can't believe we really pulled it off. I think this might just be my masterpiece.
Your magnum opus. They wait in silence for our response, but their faces are beaming with pride. It seemed like a simple enough plan, but it was definitely risky. The moment we set foot in the Coliseum, they were in real danger. I was too. But that only shows off their resolve. They were willing to die for this. However, something feels off about this. It's all too perfect, too convenient. I'm not sure. Ulrich was willing to throw everything away? I mean, I sided with Vivian, but that wasn't a guarantee. Had I sided with Draco, he'd lose his chance to change Alarinthia. There had to be more to this story, something they're not telling us. I'd have to talk to them in private later on. Maybe they could confide in me. Oh shit, they backloaded. Oh my god. What was that one called? Dank Pictures. Anthology. No, not Little Hope. Because this one was the one with resting bitch face. Will Porter. No, it wasn't a Dark Pictures. It was like an actual release, wasn't it? What was it called? Oh yeah, I can just do this. Shit. Alright, I am old as shit. Supermassive. Wait a second. That's not what I clicked on. Stop going to Bandai Namco. I'll go fuck myself. Why can't I? God damn it. Not House of Ass. Is it? They're the people that did Until Dawn, right? So it's the same people, right? Shit. No one lives under the lighthouse. The problem is I can't, like, not look it up because it's going to bother me until I remember what it is. Why was it? Anyway. Why can't I find it? I have no mouth and I must scream. That's a game I don't know if I want to finish it. It was... Oh, the Quarry! Found it. This one. Yeah, all the deaths were super backloaded in this one. Also, one of them was just super casual. But as it stood, I didn't really buy their tale. Would they really risk their lives on a foreign alliance? My comrades seem to think so, and they shower them with praise.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. I knew you were a swindler pro, but this is crazy. You're using your skill to shape Alestia's history.
Gross.
And Ulrich, I never knew you were so good at acting. You really had me sold there. I almost can't believe it. It felt like something was up, but to think it was this?
Also, the whole him saying that we're all pawns to him was pretty, yeah, so, like, a lot of the deaths were backloaded, in the query. I played it with my friend Noah, and I literally got all of my characters killed on accident. I had Brenda Song, and she went and killed Disco Guy by just hiding in the ice box. And that killed him. And it also killed her. So, like, one choice killed two people, and then Noah killed off my other character, Nick, because just extremely casually, he was playing as the kid with the podcast and the earbuds. I can't remember his name, and the character he was with, just casually shoots a werewolf in one of the cells, and that just turned out to be Nick. Like, it was just like a very casual, just stop her or not, and she just does it, and then he's just dead, and you don't even know it. There's no reveal later, like, holy shit, that's a dead Nick right there. It was like, at the end of the game, when credits are rolling, he's just dead. Like, ugh. It was so dumb. I was so frustrated by the double kill at the end, though. Like, that legitimately upset me. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I just spoiled it. Well, kind of. I spoiled some of the choices, I guess. And the frustrating thing is, too, is it might have been because I got, like, my first character killed. I mean, I don't know why. But I saw, like, an alternate... Or I saw, like, somebody else's playthrough where, like, in that moment with Brenda Song, because I don't remember the character's name because that's just what I called... I just called her by the actor. They chose to go to the freezer, which was the same choice I did. But for some reason, at some point, there was some kind of, like, noisemaker that was set up in the room that when you make that choice, you then get a subsequent choice to throw thing into freezer to lure werewolf into it. But since I didn't have that, I still made, like, the right choice, but still made the wrong choice. And it just killed two people. It was dumb. Like, and the reason why I'm frustrated by it is because, like, I don't remember what happened to him, but he was really weak. And, like, the entire time, like, as, like, Brenda, you're making choices to, like, get the werewolf away from him. And then you make this one choice, and she just up and abandons him. And then he dies for it, and then she freezes to death for it. Just like, why? Why? It's so fucking dumb. But anyway.
Almost puts my strategizing to shame, I have to say. So what's the next step? Is it just smooth sailing now? I imagine our chances of getting caught are pretty low.
You should probably tell Vivian what really went down. I doubt he'd mind, and at least he wouldn't find out another way. In the meantime, we need to have a word with our new prisoner.
I want to talk to Sylvie.
Right, I'll tell him while you do that then. But I think we've also earned some much-needed rest. Let's take the day off and meet back up here in the morning. That is, if it's okay with you, Monarch.
No, we're running this by my schedule now. I nod and tell everyone they're dismissed. Everyone runs off except for Ulrich and Pro. They approach me, they look anxious.
Sylvie is in the brig, right? Can't believe he surrendered. Just like that.
And I heard him say something about a mole? Let's go talk with him, Monarch. You deserve some answers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let Dominic pamper Vivian for the time being. But before we head to the brig, look behind us, Monarch. It's starting to look like an impressive army.
Oh, do we have a fleet? Yes, I just double-clicked. Okay. I do as instructed and notice that we're accompanied by at least a dozen ships. If that was the strength of our new Alarinthian army, then I was at a loss for words. That fleet combined with our own and my blade stood a real chance in Balteus. But I couldn't lull myself into a false sense of security. There was so much to do. And right now, the next step was having a word with Sovi. Just what was he after? And the fact that Ulrich and Pro volunteered to come along was also pretty peculiar. The pieces have started to fall into place, but there's still quite a few gaps. Maybe this information that Sovi promised would help me in some way. We all head down to the brig, and I'm hopeful that I could figure this all out. After all, I could leave no question unanswered before attacking Balteus. Also, the writing was pretty goofy in that game. Then again, no. I actually never really... maybe. Anyway. After resting in our brig was one man who knew everything about our enemy. If we could use him for information, then that would be an incredible boon. As we enter the brig, one fact plays on repeat in my ever-running mind. With everything we just gained, we actually stood a chance at winning this war. Yo, we get to talk to Fluffy Boy. The brig is dark, and we can't see much at all. It is until our eyes adjust and we immediately see Sophie. He is broken free from his binds and is doing pull-ups from the ceiling beam. Grunting with exertion, he lets himself fall to the ground when he notices our entrance. Taking a few steps towards us, he is careful not to make any sudden movements. Bro makes sure the cell door is shut and locked so he can't escape from us.
My, I wasn't expecting an entourage. Should I be flattered or concerned for my safety?
I think you should be concerned given what Ulrich said last time he mentioned you. An obvious attempt at humor, but none of us acknowledge this. Ulrich steps forward, demanding swift answers from our captive.
Explain yourself, Sobi. I'm seconds away from throwing you overboard.
Really? That's how you would kill him?
Again with the hostility. Look, I don't even really know what I'm doing here. It just felt like the right thing to do, given the circumstances.
What circumstances?
I'm fired. Sylvie looks at me and shakes his head dismissively.
Back when we attacked your HQ in Mazeo, my goal was to kill your friend and retrieve the blade. I failed both objectives, and the Triumvirate punished me.
I see.
It's true, Sylvie did show me mercy during our brief encounter. He had my life in his hands, but he chose to run away instead. He saw something when he touched the blade, I could tell. And I know that And now that I know the truth of the spirit realm, I think I knew what he saw. The monarchy. He must have seen the same truth that shocked all of us. But that might be what he was told. I asked if that's true, almost certain that I'm correct, and he then confirms it.
You are correct. I found out that the Triumvirate was lying to me. I let you live because I wasn't sure of what to do next. I'm still uncertain. When I got back to Balteus, they punished me by placing me in exile.
You expect us to believe this? Sobi, you're nothing but a mindless slave.
He's been free.
The monarch survived because of his strength.
No, I tell Ulrich that Sylvie is speaking the truth. I explained what happened while we were down near the idol.
See, Ulrich? You're always so paranoid. Listen to your friends before making snap judgments. I have a lot to say, so you better learn to trust me again.
I can.
Don't count on it.
He walks away and stands in a nearby corner, because that's what Ulrich does now. He's brooding. Sensing an opportunity, Pro enters the conversation.
So, what did you want to tell us? Around here, you need to earn your keep. Ulrich was serious about throwing you overboard.
Well, this is where it gets complicated. I still consider myself a servant to the Triumvirate. But Halen? Well, I want nothing more than to see him fall. I'm not here to hurt any of you. Not this time. As you can see, even though I broke out of my binds, I am playing nice. Right now, all I can offer is information to aid your attack on Balteus.
And why would you want to help us take down the Triumvirate?
Doing so would involve taking down Halen as well. He sold me out and got me into this whole mess.
Okay, and let's say we take down Halen. What then? You'd be reinstated as Inquisitor and just stab us in the back.
I doubt it.
You speak as if people aren't capable of playing both sides. Either way, I don't know. I'd make my choice when the time comes.
What makes you say that so easily? You've served the Triumvirate for your entire life.
I don't think it's been his entire life.
No, not my entire life. They welcomed me with open arms when I was young and broken. Now here they are, inflicting the same wounds they had promised to heal.
Is that supposed to make sense to me?
It does to me.
No, because it barely makes sense to me. Now, Pro, will you let me say what I have to say?
Sure.
Sylvie sighs and crosses his arms.
If you want to take down the Triumvirate, you'll have to enter their chambers. I've never seen them leave, and I don't expect that they ever will. I always thought they were hiding, but I don't think that's true. There's something at the back of their chambers. Something off. It's like a spirit idol, but the very sight of it fills me with fear. I'm not sure what it is, but I have a few theories about it.
I'm shocked he's actually telling the truth. I've seen this idol in my visions of the Trinity. Could it really be true? Is he doubting his masters?
I think that maybe it's their source of power. But I'm probably wrong, as that seems to be the trend lately. Either way, its destruction should be your top priority.
That lines up with what I was told in my visions. But I was unsure if those visions were tricks. In them, I was drawn toward that special idol.
A spirit idol in their own chambers? But those are conduits for the monarchy. It makes no sense that they'd keep one close by. Their main goal was to destroy all of the idols.
But if they're in control of the
nice
only
try,
one...
But I'm not going to believe any of this. Let's go, Monarch. We'll ditch him in Mazeo.
Oh. Believe him. Pro and Ulrich start to leave, but I tell them to stop. I let them know that Sylvie's telling the truth, as odd as it sounded. I saw the same idol in the visions I had of the Triumvirate's chambers.
Visions of the Triumvirate's chambers.
When were you going to tell us about this?
After it happened a second time. Sylvie scoffed, clearly amused at their reaction.
I'm not finished yet.
Our attention is directed back toward him.
I suggest that your attack focuses on entering their chambers. There, you could take down both them and this dark idol. However, you would have to fight your way through Halen. And that's where my next piece of information comes in. Halen may seem just like you and I,
But I thought,
he's not.
Because he said they gave him life.
The Triumvirate created him with that blade.
Oh, I wonder if, like, actual created... What?
He was made to be the perfect soldier. He would always serve his masters, no matter what. Little did I know that loyalty was stronger than our friendship.
We didn't have much of a friendship, let's be honest here.
He promised not to tell them what happened. But the moment we got home, he sold me out immediately. He lives under the Triumvirate's thrall, a true mindless slave. You must never let them get their hands on that blade again. They aren't limited to suits of armor. They've mastered it enough to create life. Of course, their first test was Halen. They needed someone trustworthy enough to serve them. I think they did it to ensure that nobody else ran away. My previous master, the former Grand Inquisitor, defected. I trusted Halen and the Triumvirate. They all betrayed me. But there's your information. I'm sure it will help you out. A possible weakness and the true nature of Halen. With that blade, you could even give him freedom. It would release the spell that the Triumvirate has put on him. Of course, that's not how I'd like things to play out.
He smirks at me, and I can sense what he's about to say. Kill him!
I would prefer it if you let me kill him, Monarch. That is all I ask for in return. I won't get in your way. If you grant me this, I would be further in your debt.
We all look at each other, slightly confused. The Triumvirate created Halen to be a perfect slave? I guess that makes sense, especially if they're dealt with if they dealt with defection. I don't know why I couldn't say that. But what was this idol in the back of their chambers? And was destroying it really the best course of action? I guess we wouldn't find out until the very end of things.
So, do you trust me?
We all nod reluctantly. These facts weren't revelations, but they helped. If I could free Halen, he might end up being a valuable asset. However, the idol remained a true wild card in all of this. If I ever got the chance to talk to the Triumvirate, I'd ask them. But something tells me, if we're face to face, it won't be civil. Kill, come on. Come on, Gee. And for all I know, it's just a trick. The idol could be a red herring.
Good. Because there's 2 more things to talk about. And now that I've earned your trust, you have no reason to doubt them. I saved them for last because, well, it involves dishonesty among your ranks.
This must be about the mole he mentioned. I tell him to quit dancing around the subject and tell me. We had a lot of planning to do for our final attack and very little time.
Well then, do you 2 want to tell him, or should I?
Oh, so they know who it is. Bro and Ulrich shuffle in silence, clearly in a state of unease. What was Sylvie talking about? There's no way Ulrich and Pro were dishonest. Do you know what they just did? They had served Domic and Salus for decades. Almost exactly 2. They were easily the most trustworthy.
I guess it's time. I'll go first.
Ulrich steps forward, taking a deep breath. Sylvie watches with his signature smirk.
My allegiance is with the rebellion. I can promise you that. But that wasn't always the case. It's all in the past. Ages ago. Sylvie is trying to harm our trust with ancient information, Monarch. I knew this was going to happen. He'd earn your trust with a couple of interesting facts and then attack. This is subterfuge. My past has no bearing on my current loyalty.
Yeah, I know you were
But
part
I knew
of them.
this secret would come out sooner or later. That's the real reason I sided with Pro to cheat the Colosseum. You'd know my loyalty was with you, no matter what.
That much is true. He had no guarantee that I'd side with Vivian. He didn't have to in the end, but he was willing to abandon his dreams. That was proof enough of his loyalty, but I was still a bit concerned.
Delaying, as always. He's scared of you, Monarch. He knows you might throw him away.
No. The Monarch would never do that. Not after what I did for our cause in Alarinthia. So go ahead, Sylvie. Watch your plan crumble and fall.
I notice a weight lift itself from my back. The blade disappears from my scabbard. Sylvie is doing it again! However, much to my surprise, that's not what happens next. Ulrich sighs in both relief and fright as the blade appears in his hands. I take a few steps back, shocked. How in the world is this possible?
Grand Inquisitor Ulrich. That was
You were the
ago.
first defector.
Ancient history. He's using a dead past to try and hurt us, Monarch.
Ulrich was a Grand Inquisitor? Then he must be the defector Sylvie mentioned. Well, the pieces of all this are starting to fall into place. So excited.
I realized that the Triumvirate was my true enemy. That's when I decided to join the rebellion. You really thought this would work, Sylvie?
I never said I was intending to hurt you. This is merely information that might help you in Balteus. Ulrich has inside knowledge, Monarch, and he can wield the blade.
That's what,
It's your choice if you let this information hurt you. But in your situation, I would be relieved to know. Now, there's no need to keep any more secrets.
So did Pro also know this? Or is Pro the mole? I'm so confused right now. Was Sophie helping us or trying to hurt us? I can see how he might think that Ulrich's past would harm our trust, but I can also see how sharing this information would help us out. Furthermore, the way Ulrich handled this situation was extremely professional. Under any circumstance, I might have taken this information badly. But he's right. In the past, it's the past. He's gone and proven his loyalty to me. The happenings in Alarinthia finally make full sense to me. He was securing my trust for when this secret came to light. Genius, really. I'd have to deal with him more on that later. This conversation had potential to explode. I'm glad that it didn't. I know Ulrich's real plan, but Pro still remained a wild card. What was he after? I turned to face him, and he takes that as a signal that it's his turn to talk. Ulrich passes the blade back to me, and I place it in the scabbard. Pro looks worried. Perhaps his secret was worse than Ulrich's.
Go on. Tell the Monarch, Pro. It's time for him to know, don't you think?
I'm the mole. He gulps before speaking.
So, I guess I'll start from the beginning. My parents abandoned me. They didn't die in the occupation like I tell everybody. I've always wanted to know one thing. Why?
I got stung in the bee.
None of my searches gave me any useful information, so over time I grew more and more desperate. One day, the Triumvirate reached out to me.
He looks down ashamed.
They said they knew the truth about my parents, but in exchange, they wanted me to give them information. Details about the rebellion. It seemed like a harmless exchange.
Pro is the mole.
But over time, they started to ask for more and more. I gave them so many secrets, but got nothing in return. It wasn't much longer before I quit. I had enough of their lies.
But the damage was already done, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was the last thing you leaked to them, Pro?
Dominik was the leader.
The location of our new HQ. The tunnels. It was a good hideout, right under their noses. They'd never find it, unless somebody told them.
I am shocked to my core. If Pro leaked our location, then that means...
That's right. Pro is responsible. His leak enabled us to attack you in Mazeo. All of those lives, the blood is on his hands.
No! Like I said, I quit. They lied to me. They knew nothing about my parents. All they wanted was somebody gullible enough to serve them.
I mean, I think you can tell that I'm very shocked right now. Being cynical, shit, don't worry. No, I'm being cynical with you. I'm so shocked. So, what if it turns out they didn't lie to you? Would that mean you'd betray us? Besides, you did already have your little line of you'd do anything to figure out what happened to them. Although, I guess you already did, like, the thing I was expecting that could maybe happen. Yeah.
It doesn't change what happened, Pro. Now, Monarch, how do you take this?
Hey, I proved my loyalty. Just like Ulrich. I put my life on the line to serve the rebellion. There was no guarantee we'd survive the Colosseum.
Bro, you can't do that. That much was true. I knew everything was too good to be true. The real reason they did what they did were all self-serving. It was just so they could defend themselves as they were exposed. With an ulterior motive like that, were they really trustworthy? Ulrich's past was easy to forgive, but what Pro did to all of us? I have no idea how to react. Sylvie was fighting a war on my mind.
Look, I made up for what I did. All those lives we lost, we got them back, and more. Our Alorinthian allies will help us win this war, hands down.
My man, that's not how that works. Like, I don't think I'm going to abandon Pro or anything, but he's just like, he's really not making like very good cases for himself. Look, all the people that died, I replaced them. I got new lives. Yeah, he is huffing some serious copium. I nod, acknowledging his point, but I need more time to think about this. If they had secrets, did my other comrades too? Probably. I'm starting to doubt the loyalty of everybody around me. I need to stop. That's probably what Sylvie wants me to do. I need to ensure everyone's loyalty before we leave to Balteus. Ulrich was the previous Grand Inquisitor. Pro was the mole responsible for the attack on Mazeo. How was I well, he's not responsible for the attack. It's an obvious inevitability, but he's not the one who planned it. I would say the one who planned it was would be the responsible party. He just passively helped. Your Honor, I was... Wait, /J? I asked Ulrich and Pro to leave me alone with Sophie. We'd get some rest and meet on the decks in the morning. One big gathering before we arrive in Mazeo would help. I can see the worry on their faces. I tell them I'm not throwing them away. I'm not throwing you guys away. As they leave, the worry is still there, however. Their secrets were finally out. I don't know if anyone else knew, but I guess I was enough. I'm in charge. I turn back to Sylvie, who crosses his arms.
So much dishonesty in the air. Wouldn't you agree? I want you to look at your comrades, and then look at me. Unlike them, I've been nothing but honest with you.
My mans, I don't think you got to sell yourself. You're a fluffy dragon. It's proof enough for me. I might be biased, okay?
I would rather have an honest enemy than a cheating friend. That's part of why I wanted to talk with you, Monarch. I know that we can be open with one another.
What did kill you that one time? I shake my head, unsure how to respond. I tell him that I need some rest, some time alone. So much was happening all at once, I needed a break.
Very well. We're meeting on the deck come morning, then? I'll make sure to be on my best behavior. I respect you, Monarch. I always told myself that I'd serve the rightful rulers of this world.
That is true. That was something he said at, like, the very beginning of the game. Like, I think it was on the ship when he was with Halen. He's like, I'd serve the rightful rulers of the world. And he's like, you mean the Triumvirate? Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. It was something to that effect.
It just seems like I was also lied to by the Triumvirate. Just like Ulrich. Just like Pro. We're victims here. All of us. I may have realized it late, but was it too late? I guess we'll see.
His attitude seems to have changed now that we're alone. And for the first time, I can sympathize with him. He's hurt and lost. He's been lost this entire game. He's just like all of us. We're just trying to find what we believe is right. We're trying to do what we believe is right. I tell him that he's free to join us at the meeting in the morning. But everybody will be told who he is. It'll be up to them to decide how they take it. If the majority of my comrades want him gone, then we'll have to part ways in Mazeo.
Very well. It's only fair. Have a good rest, Monarch.
He bows to me as I turn to leave the cell. I make sure it's locked tight. He'd be let out in the morning. For now, I needed to be alone in my thoughts. I needed to process everything. He just goes back to doing more pull-ups. I make my way back to my bed and quickly collapse onto it. The weight of recent events weighs me down like a ton of bricks. At the end of the day, I didn't know who I could really trust. It's awful. Ulrich and Pro, the two most trusted comrades, had dark secrets. It makes me wonder just what everyone else was hiding, even Valessa and Fortum. I feel like you can probably almost definitely trust those two, because you kind of, like, grew up together. If they had dark secrets, like, I feel like you would know them. I would know them. This case. When we got back to Mazeo, I need to ensure their loyalty before we attacked Balteus. We couldn't embark on the biggest part of our journey with unresolved issues. Everybody needed to be in tip-top shape, not be held down by anything at all. As big as Ulrich and Pro's secrets were, it's information we didn't have before, information we could use against our enemy, and against Balteus. We were too close to our goal to fall apart due to internal politics. I drift off to sleep and make my way to the deck in the morning. Wow, I actually get to sleep for once. It was time for everyone to know about Sophie. Then we'd have a final discussion about what comes next. We were ready to launch an attack, but what should we do? No dream sequence. Everybody is standing there as if they are waiting for me to arrive. They all exchange glances with Sylvie, and unease fills the air. I don't blame them for being reserved right now. Not at all. They all turn to face me, so that's when I hand the floor to Sylvie. If he wanted to help us out, he would have to win over my entire crew. The choice was with me, but all of their input was important. All of us gather around in a sort of circle. I don't know if they're going to matter that much. He is a fluffy dragon. At least that's what I think he is. At least with the snoot and the horns. Also, according to a reliable source. This means he could easily address all of us. I'm curious what he has to say. A lot is on the line.
My name is Sovi. I am, or was, the Grand Inquisitor. I no longer serve the Triumvirate. I was betrayed by my apprentice. He sold me out, forcing my masters to place me in exile. They threw me away. Everything they ever told me was a lie. I thought they were Alestia's rightful rulers, but then I figured out that this wasn't true. The heir to the throne is the monarch. I am a victim of their tyranny, just as you are, all of you. I hope you understand. I'm still at a loss. I don't really know what to do with myself, but coming here to meet with you and the monarch seemed like a good idea. Last night, I also revealed some information that could help your upcoming attack. I just need to know that I belong somewhere.
You're the first one who
Attacking the
pointed it out.
Triumvirate will involve taking down Halen. We share a common purpose, at least until he's taken care of. After that, I really don't know. I've always pledged my loyalty to the rightful ruler of Alestia. Logic would dictate that I now serve the monarch. But I don't know. The Triumvirate can throw people away at the snap of a finger. But I'm not like that. What they did was hurt me almost beyond repair. I will help you attack Balteus and take down Halen. You have my word. But after that, I don't know what will happen. In that sense, I am both an asset and a liability. If you want me to leave, then that's what I'll do. When we get to Mazeo, you'll never see me again. That is, unless you want my help. I can offer valuable intel. It's a gamble for both you and me. I don't fully trust you either. But hopefully I've earned a sliver of trust with the monarch. If he vouches for me, then hopefully you will as well. That is all. My fate is in your hands. I have nothing more to say.
He crosses his arms, waiting for our reply. My comrades were all shocked and confused, save Pro and Ulrich. I asked them to step forward one by one and offer their thoughts on this. For once, I have a grasp on an entire situation. This is how things should be. Like Sylvie said, I was the rightful ruler. I couldn't have people being dishonest and plotting behind my back.
I honestly didn't expect this, but nothing has been normal lately. I'm willing to give Sovi a chance. I did the same thing with Grizz. His defection marked a turning point for our cause, a big one. If he can help us out, then I think we need to accept it. And if he turns against us, then he's easily outnumbered. The potential benefits outweigh the potential risks.
This is clearly a trap. We request that you deny his assistance. He's alone
These
now,
two are just
but he
opposing
won't
each other.
be when we arrive in Baltius. If we give him information, he'll turn on us once we get there. Surely we aren't the only one who thinks this way. An alliance with our enemy mere days before our attack. It's too convenient. Sovi is playing us for a fool.
I'm with Hal on this one. We can't work with the enemy. This is the man that killed you and burned down Valinor in your vision.
Oh, yeah.
No, it was a trick, but the man is the same. He's a trained killer. For that reason, I can't
So is
accept
like
his offer.
everybody here.
Fortum, you're with me, right?
I don't know, Valessa.
Do you
I think
realize
everybody
how many
deserves a second
people
chance.
have taken lives here,
We all
Valessa?
had that moment when we turned against the Triumvirate. Why is it so hard to believe that Sovi might have that moment? He worked so closely with them. He's seen their true nature. He has more knowledge on them than anybody else in our army. It makes sense that he'd come to the same realization as us. I mean, sure, it took a while longer, but that's because he served them. When you remove the excuse of loyalty, it can become pretty clear. That's why he didn't fully realize things until they put him in exile.
Yeah, I'm with Fortem. Everybody deserves a second chance. We've all been there before.
Ulrich isn't going
We've
to
all
trust
made
him.
a
I'm
wrong
going to be the
decision,
tiebreaker,
too.
of course.
There's no better way to make up for it than doing the right thing.
Sovi isn't concerned with doing the right thing. He's a liar, plain and simple. There's no way we can trust him.
3 on 3.
He turned on us the moment we arrived in Balteas. That's a guarantee. Letting him close to us now would only enable him to gather information. If he knows our strategy, he can counter us with the Inquisition when we arrive. It's a death sentence, Monarch. Don't be foolish. We've come too far to risk this.
It seems like my comrades are divided, but with good reason. I was hoping for something more unanimous in any given direction. It was clear that now the pressure and the final decision rested on my shoulders.
Well, Monarch?
Yeah, no, this is no contest. Maybe because I respect my man for putting on the gays in boat jail. Yeah, for different reasons, but yes. Let's see. Lucky number 7. It was a risk that I was willing to take for our cause. The information he could offer us would make us so much stronger. If we got suspicious of him before the attack, we could easily outnumber him.
Very well.
He takes a few steps back and rests against the edge of the boat. A few minutes later, after everything is said and done, we arrive in Museo. The docking process is short, since our pirate allies are masters of the art. Dominic stepped forwards, filling the silence that overtook our ranks.
Well, this is it. We're ready to attack Balteus. Everything we've ever wanted is finally within our grasp. The voyage will take a day or two, so we can plan on the way. For now, we need to ensure that we leave no stone unturned. Visit with your loved ones, say your goodbyes, because
Hal
this is
hates
it.
me at this point.
Once we leave for Balteus, our fates are as good as sealed.
His words are true, but fill the air with tension. The dawn of our final battle was... No, it's not. This is like the eve. And we needed to prepare. But planning the attack was easy. Our true task was accepting our possible death. This means saying goodbye and spending a final day or two with our friends. I should use this opportunity to make sure everybody's prepared for the final battle. As the leader, it was my job to ensure that we're all up to the task, no matter what.
I don't think there's anything left to say. Finish up your business, and we'll set sail when the monarch demands it. Act under the assumption that you only have 1 or 2 days before departure. I don't want to rush anything as important as a goodbye, but every moment we waste is a moment for our enemy to prepare. I trust that we'll find a happy medium and embark without regret.
I think I've got heart-to-hearts with everybody unlocked, except for Howl. Everybody nods, agreeing with his words. I can't believe that the time is finally here. Until now, it seems like a dream out of reach. But it's right in front of me. Fate of Alarinthia. This is it. Our journey was in its final hours. Okay, maybe for me it's in the final hours, but for you there's still like 2 days, 2 or 3 days. I tense up with worry. We make our way off the boat, embracing what little time we had left. Loyalty scenes are now available for the 6 main party members. Hal has a 4th heart-to-heart that's hidden in one of the previous areas. Loyalty scenes can be accessed, but I know where it is. It's in Valinor. Fast travel has been unlocked, allowing easy navigation through all of Alestia. A new blue icon has appeared in the top left of areas. Click it to move to the world map. The world map allows easy navigation. The world map is also now where you'll launch the final attack on Bolteus. Clicking on the Bolteus map will give you Act 5. However, it is best to do this only once you're satisfied. Sylvia has now permanently joined your party! A series of heart-to-hearts has a... Oh! Clearly has been... Oh! I get dates! Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry, Dominic. I'm so sorry. No! The dragon's dateable! Shit. Stay true to Dominic because that's what I oh man, I'm so sad now. Oh well. Nope, I just sat here and said I'm still going to go with Dominic because that's what I've committed to. I've committed to him. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be flirty with him in an alternate save, but... Oh. Alright, the beginning of the end. Yes. Yes. Bro, you're in the wrong spot. We are 50 corrupt. Okay. Move to the world map. Get those scenes out of the way before the end, I guess. Yeah! Alright, Valinor. Village. I bet this is where,
Mark my words, Seer. One day...
Fucker. Okay. Ow. Miles' house. Maybe. This is where it is. Nope. That's what I wanted to do, but it didn't let me. I know. Although, I guess if it takes too long, then maybe it would make sense it would. Oh, I found one of Sylvie's heart-to-hearts. Next is Sylvie Heart-to-Heart 1. I guess this is kind of where it all started. Scheisse. Okay. Leave that there. Okay, this will be my main save. And this will be my, fluffy dragon save. I look at the water tank and think of the vision that had started this all. Back then, I thought, oh yeah, this is actually where it started. All with him. There was not enough time in the budget to have a tree climbing. Back then, I thought we could use the waters to fight the flames. Little did I know, the entire vision was just a trick to bait us. However, That was the first time I ever laid eyes on Sovi. Why did you say it like that? I'll never forget what he did to me. He killed me. But, is he different now? Or was he ever really like that to begin with?
So, this is Valinor. I've heard stories, but never been. Well, unless you count that vision the Triumvirate tricked you with. I must apologize for that. I knew what was going on, and I played along.
Wait, you were actually a part of the vision? Or are you just saying because you're still subservient at the time?
It's not like I could have done anything else. Valinor was too far away. That, and they still had me under their thrall. I was theirs to command. At least I was able to break free. I feel bad for Halen. I truly do.
Oh, do you maybe not want him dead? He looks around the town square. He looks like he's enamored by Valinor. Almost as if he's looking at a wonder of the world.
I need to ask, what did you think of me? The moment we met in that vision, who was I to you? A mindless slave? A killer? Or perhaps a man who was lost?
You're a murderer, plain and simple. Something about this icon just makes me want to read them like that. It's so dramatic. I saw a man going about the right thing the wrong way. Alright, well this is the Fluffy Dragon timeline, so I can be flirty. Oh, green. There's so much green. There's so much grass.
Excuse me? Please, don't make jokes like that. I'm being serious here, Monarch. You should be serious.
Yeah, that's how I thought that was going to go over. I knew that was the wrong choice. But I had to see it.
I need to ask. All I ever wanted was to ensure that Alestia's true rulers remained in power.
There's just some people you can't turn the charm on immediately.
All along. You are the true ruler. Now I know why they wanted to kill you so bad. You're a massive threat. Plain and simple.
Wait, can I touch your chest? I mean, look at him. He shakes his head and looks around the town some more. His eyes become fixated on the post office, and he smiles slightly.
A post office? I haven't seen one of those in ages. I couldn't travel much when I was younger, so I
He was a
philatteler.
Drawings
of places around Alestia. That was the closest I ever got.
There's mail. Yeah, there is. Apparently. He walks towards it, so I make sure to follow him. That was the first time he's ever mentioned anything about his past. It's hard to imagine that he was anything other than the Grand Inquisitor.
But the art never really matches up with the place when you see it in person. I remember collecting the Balteus set and being shocked when I actually got there. It's not really a good or a bad difference, it's just interesting to see how they compare.
I just want to know more about him. Well, but I mean, also he's younger. Like, it kind of makes sense if you're stuck in one place. He's a stamp collector, holy shit. Like, I think the reason why I never left Valinor is because that's just how your life is. Yeah, why not?
That's not really something I'd like to talk about right now. Do you mind if I go inside and buy
Aww.
some really quick? It won't take too long, I promise. Just wait for me.
I nod and he smiles at me. He runs into the post office and buys some stamps. A look of childlike glee is worn on his face when he returns.
Thank you, Monarch. You know what it's like. Sometimes you just need to do something. This is the first time I've truly been free, so I almost couldn't resist.
Oh my god.
I'll save these, and perhaps we can write each other after the war. You'll be incredibly busy, so I can't expect to earn a lot of your time.
Okay, Sophie. It's... I have a stupid grin on my face. Shut up! You don't know anything. This is so goddamn cute, okay? I'd love to race. That's so nerdy. Though I guess at this point in time, like pen pals is like kind of a thing. That was something I never did actually growing up. Though to be fair, I guess snail mail was also kind of like on its way out. Like this generation that like grew up the same time technology was growing up. And was that always like a school function, or did that not actually happen? Because when I think about it, like, I think it was like in children's cartoons, when like the main character would have like a pen pal or whatever, and they're like across the world. It's like always because of like a school function. Was that actually a thing? Or was that just like made up because children's TV? I feel like this is still too early. I'm going to go with it, but I think this is the right one.
I'm not sure how to respond to that. So
This is gonna
well,
be yes.
I wouldn't go that far, but Suja.
What did I talk? Click it once, because it will just click through everything.
I'll save these, and perhaps we can write each other after the war.
I'd love to write
You'll
each
be
other.
perfect. We'll figure something out when the time comes. For now, I think we have to focus on more important things.
Why is he sweating? That was like hard for him, I guess. He looks at the blade on my back and assumes a thinking pose.
You could use some training, couldn't you? Anything to give you an edge in the upcoming battle. I have years of practice, so I can teach you almost everything.
I'm freaking out because Stovey is a romanceable character. And he was the one who I wanted to romance from the very beginning of the game. But you know, he was a villain. But then this guy right here, who at the very beginning killed me. I had hope when he like started having doubts in like the little cutscenes at the beginning. Found a new boyfriend. No, I didn't. I'm just exploring this option. This isn't canon. Okay, actually, it probably would be the canon, but... Had I known, okay? Never believe the lies. But regardless, to catch you up on the story, I left off at the Colosseum bit, and the entire thing was rigged from the start. Ulrich and Pro already worked out a plan that basically, it was all a ruse. Ulrich killed Pro in heavy air quotes. They did it by, using a children's toy and a knife that had a spring in it. So when he stabbed Pro, it didn't stab him. But that was enough to declare victory for us. And then when we left, we ran into Sovi. And Sovi's like, I don't know what to do with myself anymore. Because he got exiled. And he basically has also said that he's going to just serve the true rulers of the land. And that's not the Triumvirate. So that's why he's here. Obviously, there's a decision there to make him a part of the party or not. But since I did, I now can access the little heart-to-hearts with him. So yeah, that's where we are. And he's also a nerd who collects stamps.
We shouldn't stay here too long, no. Schedules and all that. If we start training while we travel, it'll be more efficient in the end. We can't waste too much time before setting sail for Balteus.
I nod. It's true, he could teach me a lot about this blade. I feel like I'd be needing that knowledge in the coming days. Perhaps having him join us wasn't a bad idea after all.
Wonderful. Normally, I'd call you an apprentice at this point, but I'm past that. I need to drop the behavior that the Triumvirate taught me. So, you're not an apprentice to me. You're a friend, and I'll help you.
We start walking away from the town square and inspect his stamps. It was crazy how different he seems from how he was before. I'm taken aback. But if this was the new him, and not some sort of facade, he'd be welcome. I also did come here looking for somebody else's heart-to-heart. This is the Date the Fluffy Dragon timeline. I got a new game. Oh. What game was that? House? Nope. Où est le owl? Alright, not here. Must be on the outskirts then. East Crown. Ah, why are you here? I went here just because I could. Book of Hours. Oh, what kind of a game is it? Looking off into the distance, already shivering at the extreme cold. I wanted to visit home one time before the end, and that included East Crown. We never got to find out what was out there. I start to wonder if we ever will. Not that it's even important. It has nothing to do with our goal, or our cause. Just a mystery, one of many left unsolved. Hal approaches me from behind with a dagger, and looks into East Crown. He seems perplexed, like not even he really knows what's over there. Makes sense. I doubt the old monarchy had the ability to survive the cold.
We know this place.
He holds out his hand, feeling the harsh winds.
The fatal cold. Death within an hour. No chance of survival. Not like Alarinthia's deserts.
Narrative
We let criminals
RPGs
handle
and
their own
cards
end.
for most of it.
A mercy.
We let criminals handle their own end. Is like, it almost sounds like that one game that like popped off like a few months ago. Inscription. How different
Because
is
of
it?
this, it became a very mysterious place. We started to wonder what was out there, if anything. However, until now, we had no way of finding out.
Until now. Yeah, because he doesn't feel anything.
This cold, we feel nothing. It wouldn't harm us to venture forward. Perhaps now is the time to solve this mystery.
Do it!
How fitting that we would be the first. A monument to death. An execution ground. Monarch, we would like to take a brief break.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. How does he know for sure he can survive? He may not feel anything, but the body could still freeze.
Unlikely. We would be shielded by our spirits. They may die, one by one, but we would endure. At the end of it, we would remain largely unchanged.
Of a library that holds grimoires and arcane, and you master the hidden arts and wisdoms. Based on the Zamorales cultist sim. Takes place in the 1930s. Ooh, interesting. Well, the premise is definitely intriguing. How is the gameplay?
Besides, we were not asking for permission. Do you not share the same curiosity as us?
I need my answers. Moving on. You're right. That's something I've always wanted to know.
We thought so, too. Something about great minds. Perhaps there will be nothing. Or perhaps not. It is something we will never know. until we try.
That was the first time I've had a branching dialogue choice with this character. Wait, is Cultist Sim also like a card game? Because I've never played it. He takes a few steps forward and looks down at the ground.
Already, we can feel our power dwindling. The spirits inside come forth to keep us warm. We will hurry and return with minimal damage.
He starts walking away, powered by his curiosity. I guess he couldn't resist solving a mystery of the world. I don't blame him, he was also uniquely qualified to do so. There's something important here. Oh, but East Crown, would there even be anything in there? I'll believe in it. There must be something important inside East Crown. It was too mysterious. There had to be something here. And now we'd finally find out. It was rather exciting. I hold on to these thoughts in my mind until Hal returns. He shows no sign of wear and walks as strong as ever. It's hard to get a read on his face, there's no emotion on display.
We don't understand. For a while, there was nothing. But then, we saw something interesting.
This seems more of a roguelike. Has much less guidance. Huh. Let's find the one Starbucks in the world. What interesting thing did you see? Ask him to elaborate, my curiosity taking control.
East Crown is ice. There's no water anywhere. It doesn't make any sense. We saw our ship, crashed, broken, frozen among the ice. A ship sailing in ice. This is backwards. But we think that perhaps this is okay. Backwards, just like our thoughts.
It's called Currents wrecked the ship into the ice. Now he's lost me.
The future, or perhaps the past. This new outlook changes almost everything. Do not worry, Monarch. We were harmed in no way.
Where is Book of Horns? They say tells him what potentially you need to look for. No guidance unless you commit down. Unless you commit down garden paths. So is Cultist Sim similar to like not Wrath of the Lamb, Cult of the Lamb? If it's a roguelike? Where you're like running your own cult and then doing roguelike something or another's to like bolster your cult? Like, is there any similarity? I've never played Cultist Sim. So I'm like trying to relate it to things that I am knowledgeable on. Like, only in that you run a cult. Oh, so the gameplay is different, but I mean, it's also Cult of the Lamb is also a roguelike, so it'd also be similar in that regard as well.
As we said, spirits inside kept us warm. A self-sacrifice that helped us brave the cold. A noble end. We are lesser now, but only slightly, and it is an interesting feeling. What we saw in East Crown is of no real importance. However, it has conjured up a spark in our minds. A spark that we must discuss promptly in Mazio. There are some final matters to take care of before the end. Thanks for coming here, Monarch. If anything, it benefits us. I'm sorry if this wasn't what you expected, but that's not always a bad thing.
No, that's fine. I nod, as long as he found some sort of benefit in this little trip. Before our final battle, everybody needed to be committed to the cause. One error, one slip-up could cost us all our lives. We had to be resolute. But I wonder what he could want to talk about so suddenly. Future? Thinking backwards. Something was definitely bothering him. I'd have to do my duty as his leader to quell any worry before we launch our attack. Hal's loyalty is now available. Okay. That said, I think I could just save this one over this, because I didn't do anything overtly flirty. I'll just make two, why not? This will be the real save. This will be the flirty. This will be the fluffy boy. Okay, we found that. Unfortunately, we do need to check everything. We still need to find Sophie. Let's see. Well, the sim can easily run easily 10 to 20. What the fuck? It says carry no progress. You only change what paths are available for you in the next run. This card's on a table. Huh. There's a lot more card games than I thought that there were. Peregrino. Yeah, I can go in. I can go in again. Okay. Yes, I don't want to screen back a bunch. Give me surrounding region. Go to Salzburg. Go to the Outlook. I wonder if there's one in like all of the places. No. Go to these outskirts. Museo. Every card represents a resource. That's where I just was, right? No, it's not. Main gate. I wonder if I have to find them in order. Aha! Found one. Sophie's heart-to-heart number 2. As I wander the town square of Museo, I notice Sophie checking out the market stalls. He seems completely engrossed by everything, like he finally has time to stop and look. Makes sense until now, and it's likely that he was always on a mission for the tune. After exploring the markets for a while, he approaches me. It doesn't take long, or it doesn't look like he bought anything. He was just looking around. He's a looky-loo. Save. Replay.
So many useless items. People actually buy these things. Back in Balteus, I got used to having the bare minimum. Anything more than that is a pointless luxury.
What about your
a
stamps?
Waste. Yet, I must say, some of it does have a certain appeal. There were some very unique writing utensils.
You know?
I might look into them. Not that I fancy myself a writer or anything. They just caught my eye.
Copium. Everything being cards and resources reminds me of a board game. I think it's Seven Wonders. But that might just be because that was like a pseudo deck builder where your cards were your resources. Things like funds, health, passion, reason, your followers, and contacts. Notoriety, and mystic, as well as skills and rights. Huh, interesting. There is no deck in this game. Liar! It was a card game with no deck. Well, that's also why I said it was like a pseudo deck building game, because you don't like actually build a deck like in Munchkin or something. It's like you like it's essentially like a Magic the Gathering draft, if you're familiar with that, where like you pass cards around and you take things from them, those give you resources or things to build and etc, etc, etc. Like, so you don't like actually build a deck, but it plays like a deck building game. Okay. You'll see cards strewn about a table. Yeah, that sounds about right. He points to a nearby alleyway and tilts his head towards it.
Would you follow me into that alley, Monarch? I think we need to get away from all of these people.
Alone in an alley? Think I trust you that much already? He's not gonna know how to respond, I guarantee you.
Stop it. That's not what I meant. It's about that blade. I know a trick or two. I think
I think this is actually... I think he's going to actually play
Would
very...
you follow me into that alley, Monarch? I think we need to get away from all of these people.
I think he's gonna play very similarly to Dominic, where you just have to be nice to him the entire time, and then, when the opportunity presents itself, then you go in. Can easily be 50 or so cards. For some reason, I'm now kind of like imagining it in like a tabletop sim.
It won't take too long, I promise. I just remembered what we talked about before. There's a trick or two I can teach you with that blade.
Without saying another word, he walks to the back alley. I follow after him, ready to learn more about the Blade of Exodus. When we arrive, I start asking him questions, mainly about its origin.
I couldn't tell you. It's a mystery, even to me. Perhaps they stole it from the monarchy before they took
Really?
over. I've heard that they had visions too, much like the blade can supply. If that's not the truth, then perhaps they made it themselves. But I'm starting to think they either stole it or stumbled upon it. Stealing isn't above them, as we've all been made aware of.
Except that things can pull cards and appear. Very minimalistic. And when you said Cultist Sim, I was not expecting it to be anywhere close to a card game. I was expecting something like... I'm drawing a blank. I guess something akin to The Sims. Where you're just like a cult leader and you do things. He shakes his head as if he's upset that he can't sate my curiosity. That's fine. Perhaps it's something we'd find out when we went to Balteus.
This is probably the first trick I should teach you.
He holds out a close fist, and my blade soon appears in his hand. I've seen this happen several times, almost like he can summon it at any time.
You have to be near the blade for it to work, but it's useful. Disarming your enemy is a viable tactic in battle, so be ready. They will try to take the blade away from you because of its power.
Also, I can resist it. I nod.
Go ahead. Hold out your hand and reach for the blade. Not with your body, but with your mind. See if it works.
So this is a Keyblade. I close my eyes and I hold out my hands. And he gives me a quill. Is that another cat, or is that a trash panda? That's definitely a trash panda. I think. What the fuck is that? It looks like a wiener dog, actually. I think it's a trash panda. Ah. Is it made by the same people, too? Or is it like an Unreal Engine thing or something? Hold out my hands. So he immediately chastised me with the blunt side of his blade. Hitting it against my hand, I wince slightly and shake away the pain.
No. Never close your eyes in battle. Did you not learn anything about combat in Valenorth? If you did that in a real battle, you'd be dead in mere seconds.
I shrug.
Now do it again, and look me in the eye. I have no use for you if you can't follow directions.
I do as instructed. I look him in the eye. I focus as hard as I can to try and summon the blade. After a few moments, nothing happens. Nothing at all.
Try harder. Like your life depends on it. Because when you need to do this, it will.
Yes, Wither Factory. Ah, okay. So they made a card game engine. I guess. I scoff softly, but try not to break the gaze. He squints as if he's judging my movements. But after even more time, nothing happens.
I guess you need a little incentive.
Without any warning, he reaches behind himself, pulling a dagger from the leather straps on his back. He attacks me. I take a defensive stance, and before he can harm me, I have possession of the blade. It appears in my hand at a perfect angle and position to deflect Sylvie's assault. His dagger is in a deadlock with my blade, and he pushes me back against the alley wall.
So, it's your fear that powers you.
After a few moments, he backs off and puts away the dagger.
I was the same, until I mastered my fears. Then the blade responded to my willpower, my resolve. It can learn and grow just as much as you can, Monarch.
It's the same, but very deep and bizarre. So it's also the same... Oh wait, I think he did say it was the same universe, right? Deep and bizarre. Well, I mean, I guess given that it's a cult simulator, and now we're dealing with, magic and seemingly eldritch potential, it makes sense why it would be bizarre.
If you learn to remain calm in the face of battle, you'll do fine. Without fear to rely on, the blade will find something else. What that is, however, is different from person to person. I'm eager to see what kind of person you become. For now, let's continue on our way. No more wasting time. When we have another moment together, I can teach you more.
This is also kind of making this feel like the correct ending. Just because of... This seems like kind of extremely important to have this knowledge. And I would assume if you don't take him with you, you don't have this knowledge, and then, like, you lose or something. He smiles and leaves the alleyway. I remain there by myself. It was hard not to be scared, given my situation and the upcoming battle. But if mastering these emotions made me a better wielder, then I had to try. I leave the alley... Oh my god, I just thought of the cheesiest thing. The blade responds to the love in my heart. And then it just manifests whenever... Oh god, no. The wood surrounds the walls of Amansis. Oh, as soon as any students of histories know, the Amansis has no walls. I remember that. I think you've quoted that before. I still don't know what it really means, but I do remember it. My eye trails over the drawing utensils that Sylvie pointed out earlier. I wondered for a moment if I could get him a gift. A thank you for the lesson. Here we go. It seems harmless to stop and buy them on my way out of the town square. I'd have to find the right chance to give them to him. It might take a while. But after that was said and done, it was time to get on my way. I mean, what it says. On to the friendship you garnered along the way. Exactly! Something super f***ing cheesy. Also, now I want to load you. Now let's do these simultaneously. And at least I know where to go now. I wanted to go back to here. Yes. Back to menu. Next. City. Town Square. One of those fancy animes.
Would you follow me?
Don't get them. Probably wasn't a good idea, so I figured I'd move on. Perhaps another time, as of right now I was very busy. I leave the town square ready to continue on my way. That also just seems kind of sad. Alright. The Domic timeline and the Subi timeline. Load. Piss. Yes, whatever. Now I need to figure out where else I can talk to him. Next. Nope. Next. Also, Grizz is dead as fuck. Really, there's nothing to do in here. Wait, hold on. Can I...
Hey, don't touch any of that. This is my office, you know.
You're dead. Where's the bunny timeline? Oh, the bunny timeline is over here. It's this one, right here. This isn't dead, remember. His ghost lives on in the textbook. Oh, text box. Oh, that's right. I forgot he was haunting it for a while. It's a shame that they didn't, like, update the world or something like that. Docks. Something at the docks. Church of Mazeo. In here. What about inside? In here. Go to the Rebel HQ. Start with the tunnels. Nope. What about the main entrance? Aha! You know, I feel like I'm doing these in, like, the correct order. Heart to heart number 3. There's gonna be so much dialogue to skip for that. I walk through the main atrium of the Rebel HQ. It's not fully clean, blood still stains the floor, armor is scattered about. I'm not sure what they plan to do with the pieces of the honor guard. Sylvia's looking around, and he appears sad. I don't blame him, this is where he launched his attack. Him and his men killed almost all of us. We almost lost that day.
I already had my doubt when we launched this attack. If only we had our fight a little bit earlier. I could have prevented this. Touching that blade at the same time as you, that was the catalyst.
Oh, he regrets
I don't
it.
think you knew the truth of the monarchy at that point. It's almost as if they were calling out to me, trying to change my stance. Well, I suppose it worked. I stand here, ready to repay you for my sins.
His words seem so genuine, I almost think it's almost hard to think he could be lying. At first, he seemed unsure about whether or not he'd rejoin... At first, he seemed unsure about whether or not he'd rejoin the Triumvirate. What started out as a revenge quest against Halen has certainly grown quickly.
But we mustn't waste time on talk like that. Focusing on the past stops you from seeing the future. That's what is truly important. Your assault on Balteus.
I agree. Sylvie doesn't seem like one to waste time on with pleasantries.
So, I guess I'll be teaching you 2 lessons this time. First of all, focus on the war. Don't waste time with being friendly.
Too bad.
I've seen you and your comrades. That bond is dangerous during battle.
Yeah, too bad. I'm going to bond with you on this
I
thing.
can't have you taking a sword for a loved one. You are this world's future, Monarch. You need to be smart. Feelings? They cloud judgment. I know this all too well, and so should you. And in your situation, it is best to rely on things that serve you without hesitation. A friend with emotional stakes may not follow every order. That is a major flaw. Their blade, however, and the beings it can create, will cater to your desire.
He points to the suits of armor scattered around the floor. That means the next lesson must be related to the honor guard. A triumvirate could create a near infinite amount. Could I do that too?
Normally, the blade requires a sacrifice and the energy within to power that armor. But there is so much energy within you. I wonder if you could do it by yourself. Imagine an entire force of honor guard soldiers serving you. Such power. The Triumvirate is right to want that blade back. In your hands, it is a threat. And it makes sense why they'd want you dead, too. You are the monarchy. Take out that blade for me, Monarch. Let's see if you can do what I think you can.
I do as instructed and take out the blade.
It responds to your will, your desire. Think of it as an extension of your body, a new muscle, ready to be trained. Hold it out toward those scattered pieces of armor. See if your resolve is strong enough to give them life. That's all it takes. A spark in your mind to ignite a flame.
I hold out the blade and pointing it towards the suit of armor. I keep my eye focused on them, trying to control them. The pieces start to move, rocking back and forth. I focus with all my strength and they start to shake more. But as Sylvie mentioned, it was like a new muscle. I can't flex it for long. The pieces stop shaking and remain still as soon as they began to move.
Disappointing.
Oh. I scoff at him and I assumed a neutral stance.
It seems as if you can only use the blade while under duress. I suppose that's not too bad. We'll be in Balteus soon enough, after all. At least now you know what to do. Follow my directions and you'll be fine.
He starts to walk away, but quickly turns around.
There won't be enough time for you to master your fears. You might have to embrace these dangerous situations in order to prevail. But that blade is so powerful. I'd do whatever it takes to harness that power. I'll see you around, Monarch. Feel free to keep practicing if you feel the need. This is going better than I expected, to say the least.
This time he dismisses himself for real. Embrace the danger to become more powerful? That seemed like backwards logic. But a lot of things are backwards lately. If the blade responded to my fear and danger, then I guess I knew what to do. Because Sylvie was right, I could never retain myself and the time for our final attack. What an odd situation to be in, but I guess in my position, I couldn't eschew risk. His implication was that, if I were in danger, the suits of armor would have risen up. When the time comes, I can only hope that his prediction is correct. I wonder what other lessons there are to learn. What else could the blade do? Perhaps I'll learn more from Sylvie the next time we meet, wherever that ended up being. His advice keeps playing on repeat in my mind. Emotional stakes could be a hindrance in battle. Would I truly let something like that endanger our cause? Would I sacrifice myself to save a comrade? Or in this case, I guess it works the other way around. And I close my eyes and pray that we never have to find out. Totally not foreshadowing. Well, there's nothing to flirt there, but we have bought him a gift in this timeline, so gotta catch this up real quick. I should definitely just go here. I can speedrun. Yeah, it was main entrance, wasn't it? Larg. Yes. Yes. Load. Yes. Probably skip the crew quarters, but yeah, I'm curious. Cannot access content at this time. If there is an X, you must complete the preceding heart-to-hearts. There's a... Wait, what? Oh, wait. It's here, isn't it? Yeah. No. Okay. Wait, I don't need to load. I just go back. Personal quarters. Oh, whoa. What are you doing in my room, Sophie? I did load the game, right? I sat on my bed thinking about the blade and what I could do with it. As if on some sort of cue, I hear a knock at the door. Sophie enters. He seems much more relaxed than normal, like he's comfortable.
So, Did you manage to get any more practice in? Or were you just going to improvise when we got to Balteus? Both are good options given the circumstances. I'm just curious.
I got a lot of practice in. I think I'm doing better.
That's good. The more the better. That's what I say. But
Just wanted
at
to
the
assume
same
that I did.
time, you're limited. I trained my entire life. If you only have a few days, don't expect anything substantial.
That's just true about learning like anything. He takes a few steps forward and sits beside me on the bed.
Being down here has made my mind race almost non-stop. I mean, what I did to you and your family is unforgivable. Yet here we are, trying to move past it, letting me atone. The most important thing on my mind is why? Why did you welcome me with open arms after what I did? I feel like anybody with common sense would have put me to the plate.
I still don't think flirting here is correct. I could tell you're being genuine. I trusted you. Then you're a fool. I wanted you bond and become closer.
Well, I guess it worked. I mean, look where we are. If Ulrich can redeem himself, then surely I can as well. He did far worse things than I, but look at him now.
He sighs and slumps down a bit.
Well, that's all I really wanted to talk about. If you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Good luck with everything, Monarch.
He gets up and starts to walk away, but I stop him. This will be a good time to get him the gift I bought. You could have just used give and it would have made a lot more sense. I grab the writing utensils and hand them over to Sophie.
You got me a gift? Really? You shouldn't have.
He inspects them with a soft smile on his face.
I was looking at these in the town square.
The relationship with Sophie has changed.
It means a lot to me that you did this, Monarch. Anybody else would have just went on with their day.
Maybe I'm not just anybody else.
I don't really know what to say. So I guess I'll take that as a sign to stop talking. Thank you for thinking of me as a friend. Truly. That's more than I can say about everybody else I know. In fact, I don't think I've ever gotten a gift before. From anybody. Not even my father, who these pens reminded me of in the first place.
He scoffs and looks down at them once more.
But that's a story for another time. I'm here to help you, not bore you with sad tales. Perhaps we can talk more before we set sail.
Without another word, he leaves my room for good. I'm not sure if the choice of present was a good or bad thing now. It seemed to remind him of something he deemed a sad tale. When there's nothing I can do about it. Well, there's nothing I can do about it right now. Maybe he'd tell me the tale next time we spoke. Their final battle looming, I might not have much time. But there's one thing I can say for sure. Sylvie is becoming a friend. A second chance is truly a great thing, as long as the person is genuine. I can tell that if I earned his loyalty, he'd be indispensable during our attack. Sylvie's loyalty scheme has now unlocked. Okay. Now to go do the scene and not have a heartwarming ending to it. Load. Yes. Personal. Yes.
So,
I'll say that too.
The most important thing on my mind
Common
is
sense isn't my strong suit.
Why did you welcome me with open arms after what I did? I feel like anybody with common sense would have put me to the plate.
Yeah, you're being genuinely confused.
I'm assuming you were the only one. The look I got from your comrades was definitely condemning. But then what makes you different? Why could you tell?
He sighs and slumps down a little bit.
Well,
He gets up and walks away, a weight clearly off of his shoulders. I'm glad I could help him by offering answers to his questions. Was it enough? Hopefully he wouldn't turn on us in Bolteus. Something tells me we're very close to earning his full loyalty, however. Who once appeared to be a murderous villain was now showing a different side. I know that if we really did win him over, he'd be an indispensable asset. And if that went well, he could even be a trusted soldier. Perhaps we'd be able to spend more time together before the final attack. I felt like we were incredibly close to ensuring he remained on our side no matter what. Loyalty's been unlocked. Okay. Now we're going to be doing a lot of loyalty scenes. I guess... yeah, we'll do Sophie's first. Because then I'm going to load. And then do everybody else's. War table. View Sylvie's loyalty scene. Sylvie leads me to a boat and takes me on a short voyage. I have no idea where we're going, and our destination surprises me. It's not a place I've seen on any map and looks unlike anything I've ever seen before. I follow behind him, unsure of where we'll end up. After a while, he turns to face me. I ask him for an explanation. I trusted him enough to follow him here, but I had my limits.
I know that we're almost at the end, Monarch. It won't be much longer before we arrive on Baltean soil. So, it only makes sense that I show you where everything began.
He gestures broadly at everything behind him.
I come from this backwater town, born and raised. It was wiped off the map after all the villagers were murdered. Given time, it might have even become the 5th nation of Alestia. But that was long ago, and nobody remembers this place. My parents were in charge of the area. They were incredibly wealthy. They had a force of men working the mines, cheap labor, and big
a mining
profits.
town. We gave him the first gift he ever received in his life. So I'd say yeah. It seems like Sophie was finally opening up to me. That was important. I needed to know that he could be trusted. And if things went well, his loyalty to our cause would be confirmed.
As their son, they had me oversee all of this labor. It was my job to make sure everybody hit their goals. I performed admirably, and put my foot down when needed.
He walks towards a nearby house and puts a hand on it. Taking a loud breath, I can tell he's reliving unpleasant memories.
Everything was going well, until the...
I was right. I didn't actually read memories, but I assumed that's what it said.
Everything was going well, until the truth came out. The people who raised me weren't my parents. Not even close. They killed my parents while I was an infant and took over this town. Raising me as their own, our relationship was built on a lie.
Oh no!
I was serving killers and usurpers. When I found out, I felt nothing but
That's
rage.
exactly what the Translate are.
They stole this
usurpers
land
and killers.
and the lives of its rightful rulers. Such an injustice.
His hand was resting on the house, slowly turns into a clenched fist.
I don't know what came over me, to be honest. I killed everybody. My so-called parents and all of the workers. I was lied to by those who swore they loved me. I couldn't take it.
He does have some serious trust issues.
In that moment, this town became mine. But there was nobody else, and I was all by myself. I no longer wanted to live. I took myself to the cliff's edge and thought about throwing myself into the ocean.
He turns back to face me, and I can see how sad he really is.
That's when Ulrich found me. He made sure I didn't do anything stupid. I don't know how he came across me when he did. I thought it could be Providence. But he saved me, and I told him everything. Instead of scolding me, he praised me. I was shocked. I expected to be dragged to the nearest prison. But he took me right to the Triumvirate and told them my story. That's when they wanted me to become his apprentice. I accepted. My desire for justice was something they wanted on their side. But I no longer fought for my home village. I fought for all of Alestia. I swore an oath to them that I would always fight for the rulers of this world. At the time, I believed it was them. But learning the truth of the monarchy, it just opened old wounds. I saw the Triumvirate in a new light, much like I saw my so-called parents. Once more, the desire for justice rose to the forefront of my mind. You may think my allegiance changed and that it was a sudden shift, but it's not true. I've always fought for the same thing. It's just that sometimes the tables need a little turning.
He crosses his arms and seems to be done talking for now. He leads me further into the village and I follow, trusting him more. We eventually end up at a large building, one that served as a town hall.
You may notice the bloodstains, but don't worry. I threw all the bodies off a cliff with Ulrich. You won't be seeing anything gruesome, I can assure you.
I can imagine it just be skeletons. What an odd way to put my mind at ease.
This is where my parents lived. I was never really allowed in. I guess I should stop calling them my parents. They were more like captors. I longed to see the world, but I obeyed them out of a feeling of loyalty. I slaved away. Sometimes I'd sneak into my father's office and peel the stamps off of his letters. They were incoming letters, so it's not like they had any use. I started to collect them. I stuck them to my bedroom wall and told myself that one day I'd go and see those places. One day, I wanted to be free.
He lets out a loud sigh.
I thought I was free when the Triumvirate took me in. But it turns out I just traded one form of bondage for another.
Whoa.
Shackles moved from my wrists to my heart. I don't know which is worse.
He holds a hand close to his heart.
They pressed the blade against my chest and gave me some of its power. It allowed me to use it as my own, and gave me what they deemed eternal life. Ulrich grew to see this as an awful curse, but I embraced it. And to this day, I still do.
It's not my fault. He's the one who brought bondage into the situation.
I see myself as a defender. I want to protect the reign of Alestia's true rulers. If the monarchy is restored to power, I will protect you and all of your descendants. You have my word, and you know
are you like
why
eternal?
I served the enemy. My virtue was simply misplaced. But now it rests with you, the true heir to the throne of Alestia. And that is where it shall remain, as long as I've proven my loyalty to you. Knowing everything that you do you trust me to protect you in battle?
I kind of want to try this one because I'm curious, but I think this is the right answer.
Thank you very much,
We're
Monarch.
all where it all began.
I knew I picked the right way to tell you the truth. If we did this anywhere else, it might have fallen flat.
He smiles. I can tell he's extremely relieved.
I needed to get this off my chest before our attack on Balteus. Not knowing whether I had your trust, it was too much. We're comrades now, though, and I'm no longer worried.
With that, it seems like our business is done here. The choice to trust me with his past and confide in me meant a lot. None of my comrades had to carry the burdens alone, We were in this together.
Let's get back to Mazeo, all right? I'm sure there's lots to do before the end. Thanks for joining me, but I think we need to leave.
You have earned Sylvie's loyalty. We start walking back the way you came and head out to our boat. This place was wiped off the map. I had no idea it existed. It makes me wonder just what else this world could be hiding. Before we get on the boat, I look back at the town one last time. After the war was over, maybe we could rebuild this place and grow it. A new nation with new rules, and if we had the opportunity, we should seize it. We start to sail away and leave this place behind us for now. But I know Sylvie better than I did before, and that could only bring good. He was carrying a weight on his shoulders, and it was no longer there. Okay, well now I'm curious about this option.
But now, very well.
Oh.
I respect your choice, Monarch. As wrong as it is your mistake to make. I can't say I didn't try to win you over. I really did.
He lets out a loud sigh and his shoulders slumped down.
Promise that you'll keep this between us. I wouldn't want anybody to start talking. Just do that, and I promise to keep to myself.
I nod, agreeing. He confided in me, and I respected that. As far as the trust went, I was still skeptical.
Let's get back to...
Okay. Well, that's just sad. That's just really sad. Also, I don't think this is going to go any different. Shut. Do you have anything new to say about this journal?
Shane's journal.
Oh, right, you don't say anything about books. Never mind. War table. Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. Yes.
But now...
Yes.
Thank you very much, Monarch. I knew I picked the right way to tell you the truth.
Smiles, I can tell he's extremely relieved.
I needed to get this off my chest.
Your business here is done. This has just been happening a lot.
Let's get back to Mazeo.
Wait, did I actually... Residing? For the boat one last time. War table. Doors open, gonna be able to regrow it. Place behind us for now. Won't bring good. And where the children no longer there. Well, I could have just been completely nice to him. I mean, that's fine for the save. I'm super curious now, though. Bear with me on this, okay? If I just go all in with the flirting, is this any different? I'm kind of thinking it's not going to be. Also, can I do these, like, out of order? I cannot. I just dumbed into that. Everybody's maxed out. I just need to do all those, like, extra scenes with them. So, I guess there's 6 more. No, I'm going to go here. Alright, I'm just going to speedrun this real quick. Valley North. Village. Where? Here. Yes.
I need to ask. What did you think of me? The moment we met in that vision, who was I to you? A mindless slave?
Really hope the weight of our quarrel causes the rest of someone so childish. Takes his hand and looks around town square.
The art never really matches up with the place.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, wonderful. Then you won't mind if I go buy some. I shouldn't be too long. It's just for old time's sake, you know? Wait for me. We can get back on track as soon as I return.
Yeah, no, and smiles at me.
I'll save these, and perhaps we can write each other after the war. You'll be incredibly busy, so I can't expect to earn a lot of... I'm not sure how to respond to that, so I won't. Let's focus on more important things for now.
Blurg. Making him question himself. Any percent. Or making him question himself percent. Now, the next one was in the city, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Would you follow me in? Stop it. That's not what I meant. It's about that blade.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And then I want to go out. No, I want to go to Mazeo, because I want to go to Rebel HQ. I want to go to the main entrance, and I don't think there's a choice here. Those be Blarg. And then personal quarters.
So, did you manage to get any? The most important thing on my mind. Well, I guess.
Relationship has changed. And I'll go here. I don't think this is actually going to change anything.
But now, it rests with. Thank.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Well, no actual romanticizing with Sophie. Then you know what? I could just load this one and be fine. But whatever. I committed to having 2 saves. I'll do it. Okay. I have to do a lot of catching up for Fortum. It's in your head where it's all real. Let's do Howl's. Howl enters my quarters, carrying an aura of purpose with him. After East Crown, I know that something big has happened on his mind. We were so close to the final battle. It was probably time for us to talk.
Monarch, we must speak with you. It's about our upcoming attack on Balteus. At least we think it is. Things have become complicated.
What do you mean?
We may be walking into a trap. This may be all part of the Triumvirate's plan.
A plan? What plan?
Take their blade, feed it power, and then bring it back. This may be what they've wanted all along. We've seen it. Everything we've done has only made their weapon stronger.
Please tell me what you're thinking.
They let us steal their blade. They wanted it to happen. They knew we'd bring it here, feed it death, and tap into the idol. But not only that, we're bringing it right back to them, stronger than ever. You may think we are wrong, that this is just a foolish theory, but we must only look into the visions to realize the truth. That, combined with some of your actions, like clockwork.
What do you mean by clockwork?
It's almost like sometimes you have no other choice. You say or do things that push us down a certain path, but more often than not, that path leads us to death. How convenient, then, that the blade feeds off of death. In your hands, it has gotten more powerful than ever before. But what force, what invisible hand
hey now, don't be bringing me
guides us
into
down
this.
this path? It's quite simple, but we were always looking at it the wrong way. Venturing into East Crown and seeing that ship made us realize that when we approached things from a different angle, it all made sense.
Perhaps you can start making sense to me then.
We've been struggling with visions of these different pasts.
Also, I've had, other than...
They seem to come out of nowhere and complicate things. Until recently, we only had to process visions of the future.
I've only had one chance to actually flirt with Hal, and then there's just the decisions that he has just not agreed with any of. He crosses his arms.
At least, that's what we thought.
I take a step forward, interested to see where he's going
But
with this.
now we realize we've never seen the future at all. It's impossible to see what has not yet been written, but it is easy to see what has already happened.
Now he's lost me.
These visions of different pasts aren't as out of place as we thought. You were told you had visions of the future, and chose to believe that fact. But they are not visions of the future.
They are just paths
They,
of different
too,
futures.
are simply different pasts.
What?
The key to all of this is the Blade of Exodus. It's a constant in every vision, but the power within it varies, even when it shouldn't. There are inconsistencies. Even if we have a vision of the same situation, the power inside the blade is different. The Triumvirate has some sort of dominion over time. That much is clear. They possess the ability to grant their subjects eternal life, like Ulrich and Sophie. We need to operate under the assumption that this ability can be used in other ways.
Yeah, I have the blade on my back.
Mainly, in a way that could be used to strengthen the Blade of Exodus. They could create a cycle full of death and despair that we are unable to break. When the cycle reaches an end, they could revert time and gather that power all over again.
You're making me make it sound like I'm the Triumvirate.
You thought you were having? They aren't what you thought. We believe they are visions of cycles in the past. Perhaps cycles where we have perished. Did your visions of the future involve your death in any way? Think about this, Monarch.
Now that he mentions it, they did. I was stabbed by Sylvie in the vision that started all of this. After touching the blade, my series of visions ended up with me getting stabbed. That's odd. I tell him these stories and he smirks. It seems only confirming his outlandish theories.
Those were visions of past cycles, Monarch. Cycles where we failed. When we look at it like this, these different pasts make perfect sense.
Is there a way to...
We've been looking at them all wrong, that is, until just recently. It seems that we retain some prior knowledge from these cycles. Perhaps that is why we act in certain ways, as if we have no options. In the back of our mind, we're pushing ourselves in the same direction.
You've got the reading Steiner. You can see different world lines.
We think the Triumvirate is manipulating time. They are doing this in order to make the blade even stronger. The occupation, the
this just
formation
became
of the
Madoka
rebellion,
Magica.
and the attack in the tunnels. All of those casualties simply serve to give the blade more power. We have no doubt that many will perish when we assault Baltius as well. But when the time comes, they can simply make it happen all over again.
This is almost too much to comprehend.
It makes sense when you think about it, especially with these tunnels. Those suits of armor knew exactly how to fortify this place for your army. They must have retained their knowledge and adapted each and every time. But only one question remains unanswered. Why? Why do they want to make this blade even stronger? What is their endgame? What do they desire? It is very possible that we are walking into a trap. That is, unless the blade has enough power to defeat them. Their plan, if it's as I expect, is a double-edged sword.
That means we can use it against them. If we play our cards right, dum-dum.
An infinite cycle, created specifically to power the blade. There must be a cycle, a prime cycle, where we have the power to defeat them. A point where the blade is strong enough for us to win, but not yet strong enough for them. All we can do is hope that we've reached that cycle. The power in that blade is immense, but isn't enough. Hopefully you understand what we are trying to say.
He's trying to tell me that we're trapped in some sort of time loop. Let's do the time warp again. A loop that the Triumvirate fashioned in order to give the blade power. This is straight up like the... Spoiler alert for like 10-year-old... Oh my fucking god, really? Hold up. Oh, this anime is 12 years old. Also, cat. Oh my god. Homura did nothing wrong. We have a spoiler alert for the big twist. Madoka's super desirable because she's extremely powerful because one of the characters kept rewinding time. And that kept making her more and more powerful. Anyway. Crisis aside. Age crisis aside. And order to give the blade power. And not only that, but I never saw the future. I only saw failed past endeavors. It's hard to believe, but death has definitely followed me and my allies. If their goal was to feed the blade with power, then they have certainly succeeded. But how far back does the cycle go? Could it reach as far back as the occupation? Wait a minute. Attack Mazeo, kill innocents, and incite a rebellion. Attack that rebellion, provoke them into attacking your home, and then destroy them. With what Hal said, it almost seems like we're walking into a trap. This can't be!
The reason we see these things is because of the energy within us. It makes us sensitive in a way that others are not. We are both special, but I don't think visions are the only benefit of this power. There is more. Perhaps you see a flash of events that are happening elsewhere. Perhaps you can relive a conversation that has already happened.
Okay,
These
quit
echoes of
explaining
past
game
cycles
mechanics, please. You don't need to do
manifest
this.
themselves in many ways.
Echo.
But when we look at it this way, everything makes sense. Everything has an explanation, and nothing is left up in the air. The only question is, do you believe us? Do you think we are correct?
I'm pretty sure, this depends on getting people's loyalty, and I think I just have to agree with them. I believe you.
Good. We knew you would see the
Change in
truth of things.
perspective.
This was an impossible matter to discuss with anybody else. We are special. And now we finally understand the reason why.
He turns to leave but tilts his head back to address me one more time. I guess he wanted to leave no stone unturned before our attack on Baltius.
The Triumvirate is up to something. That much is clear. If it aligns with our theory, at least you will be able to act. Getting caught off guard would damage us beyond repair. That is not something we want our monarch to endure. Be prepared for anything, for the enemy will stop at nothing. If you can do this, then perhaps our victory will be more likely.
You have earned Hal's loyalty. Good. Okay. I was worried that, like, I pissed him off with, like, important choices that he wouldn't be loyal, because that's, like, literally been the only thing that influences him. With that said, he sees himself out of my room. That all came out of nowhere, and I'm not sure how to react, but one thing was clear as can be. There was so much we didn't know. But what we learned in Balteus? Would we learn the truth in Balteus? Or would we even make it that far? I don't know. I start to feel uneasy, even with all this new knowledge. Would we really have been fundamentally wrong about everything? As I go about my business, it's impossible to shake that thought out of my head. Okay. Loyalty acquired. Let's do the time warp again. Let's talk to Valessa again. Loyalty scene with Valessa. Oh. Valessa leads me through Mazeo to some sort of hidden cove area. There's a large ship and it looks like some sort of dock, with no signs of life. Stashes of treasure lay about, and it's apparent that this place has been abandoned.
After we returned, I got talking to the pirates. You know, to pick up any information on our parents. It turns out this is their base of operations. Their HQ. Kind of funny, isn't it? We both ended up having HQs in Mazeo. But, to be honest, that's where I'd like the similarities to end. The more I learn about them, the more I hate them. They kept running off to Mazeo and left us in Salus' hands. Now that I think about it, he raised us more than they ever did. I guess they were more interested in this life of piracy. It's awful.
The max hearts is 4, and then the loyalty scene is the last one. So you do have to get all 4 first, and then you can get, like, the last one. She looks around the cove, taking in the environment.
I wanted to come here with you to face the truth. Our parents were bad people. There's no
Yeah,
denying
because I
it.
haven't done them yet.
They wanted this to be their
But yeah, that
legacy,
does also seem kind of
rather
confusing.
than us.
Yeah, no, the fifth gray heart is the, so you can kind of see it here. This one's Hal on the end. This is after I just did his. Like, the way they did it for Sophie, it kind of makes more sense. Where, like, the fifth one appeared after. But yeah. When I'm done with the lesser, hers will be filled in. She starts walking around the area, and I follow behind her.
Look at all this junk they valued more than us. Weapons, money, more money, and lame scrolls. Maps to some far-off treasure and riches, I'm sure.
We'll pick them up and lead them. Read them. Picking up a handful of coins, she throws them into the something.
Going off like that.
Throws them into nearby water.
Sorry for going off like that. It just makes me really angry. We idolized them for
Yeah, you look
so
very
long,
angry.
thinking the world lost good people. But to realize that maybe the world is better off without them? It's hard. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me. I just thought it would be good to do this together. I don't know how Fortin would handle it, if I'm honest.
She turns to face me with a hint of a smile on her face.
You know, I realized I'm different from all of these rebels. They've been living oppressed in the shadow of the triumvirate. But it was never the triumvirate
Why did that make
held
you
me back.
smile?
It was always myself. I wanted to be a person who could make my parents proud. I wanted to do what society demanded of me. I wanted to be perfect. But this
Nobody's perfect.
is a real
You
wake-up
live and you
call.
learn it.
Nobody is perfect. We're all flawed at heart. To realize that and embrace it, I think that's all I needed to do. Feel like
I'm
now
starting to
I can
think.
be who I want.
Also, hi, Tack.
And not who other people want me to be. It feels like such a small thing, but a different perspective can change a lot, you know?
I nod.
Well
Shit.
then,
No, I wasn't agreeing with you, Tack.
Wanna take a look around?
Games are games, okay? They're an art form. You separate the player from the game, okay? I'm not a furry. You cannot prove this. It's not, like, below the Twitch chat or anything. And it's not like I've ever talked about having, like, a fursona. It's all unprovable. I was just reading the dialogue from the game, clearly. I wasn't saying I not agreeing with you. Just don't tell him anything, okay, Hoodie? We'll be fine. You and your antics. How you doing, lad? What you been up to? How are your cats? And that just popped into my mind. Because you have a lot of cats. And I'm sure life is not boring. Woke up for the second time today. Nice. Good morning, then. She starts rummaging through various crates and sacks. I do the same as her, but find nothing of note except money. It could help after the war, but right now we needed something more.
Hey, look what I found.
Like, yeah. Man, that's like the worst when, like, you sleep and then, like you sleep or you take a nap and then you get up and you're, like, more tired. Like, what the fuck? Why? Why does it work like that? He pulled out a pair of daggers and starts inspecting them.
I think I remember these. Back when I was a kid, I swear I saw them. That means they must have belonged to my parents. Or my mother, to be exact. Just an intuition, so I can't say for sure. But I'd be willing to bet that my hunch is correct.
So, then, if those are daggers, then that could very well mean that that opening prologue could have been a different timeline in which maybe our parents were alive or something. And then she had those. Oh yeah, I've been meaning to ask you, Tack, do your cats, like, sleep on you at all? So I know it's like a thing that cats do.
Did you find anything good, Monarch?
I shake my head, there wasn't anything of note. Aside from those daggers, none of it was helpful.
What do you say? Should I keep them? Might come in handy when we attack Belteus.
Nose. Well, that's a good question, actually. She came here to move on from her parents. Taking their stuff could just be a constant reminder. On the other hand, however, maybe she could make them her own. It was hard to tell whether or not this would help or hinder her in the future. But, with our final battle almost upon us, I'm afraid that I couldn't afford a mistake. I feel like I've earned her loyalty no matter what. Make them your own.
Make them my own, huh? I think I like the sound of that.
Just the daggers and the leather straps on her back. Returning with a smile, she seems ready to head home.
Well, I guess now
see.
I need to focus on the important stuff. What kind of person do I want to be after this war is over? I'm no longer held
Oh,
back by anything, so I guess my dreams are the limit.
sky's the limit. She takes a deep breath of relief as if a massive weight was now gone. So, are your cats just in storage then? I totally understand. This is a big deal for her and for me as well.
Should we head back
Earn
then?
Valesa's loyalty.
I guess you have other things to tend to. Truth be told, I needed this. Thank you.
With that, oh my god. I just had a thought. And this is like some Until Dawn level shit. Or that kind of game kind of thing. Where it's like, if I told her not to take the daggers, she then gets into a pickle where she has nothing to defend herself with and then dies. But now that I told her to take them, she has them, so she won't die. I don't know if this game is that deep. This would be temporary, so it's a bit too small for cat. Ah, okay, I see. Kitties. With that, we're on our way out of the cove. She faced her past in that moment, and came out even stronger. I have no doubt that she'd continue to grow into an amazing woman. Before we leave for good, I turn back and look around once more. This was our parents' conducted, so this is where our parents conducted most of their business. That means this is the closest I've been to them in decades. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm curious. Can I not earn her loyalty by doing that? If I just tell her to move on?
You know what? You're right. This is pretty much grave robbing.
She places the daggers back where she found them. Turning back to me with a smile, seems like our visit is over.
Well, I guess now I... Should we...
It didn't say I earned her loyalty. Huh. So that was the right option. Interesting. Keep them. Make them your own.
my own? Well, I guess... Should we head back then? I guess you have
Huh.
other things to tend to.
Interesting. Goodbye. Save. Alright. Pro, you're next. I'm saving Fortum and Dominic for last. Pro leads me to Mazeo's town square without saying much. Wait, what did Pro want to do with me? I'm not sure what's going on, but he seems happier than usual. Things must be going well for him. I hope it's something good. I want to go grab water before I continue reading more things. And so on. Boop. Remember to stay hydrated and to take breaks every now and then. Oh, classic Nintendo. I promise you, Tech, it's Monster Hunter that every meow and then is where that came from. Have you ever played a Nintendo game? They tell you to take breaks. And since it was Monster Hunter, they're just cat puns. Like, no joke. I mean, sure, I am still making the decision to use that phrase, but... You know, it's kind of funny. Because I think Nintendo is, like, the only, like... was, like, the only consoles or whatever that, like, had those kinds of health warnings. Where it was like, go outside for an hour. Or you've been playing for a while. Go outside and do something else. Although I don't think those are on the Switch now. Though... I don't remember if... Monster Hunter had them. A family-friendly company after all. I guess that's true. Are specifically... Though they're not, actually. Fun fact. Ah. Fun fact, the target demographic for Nintendo stuff is, like, the late teens to early 20s. Albeit this is information from, like, 4 or 5 years ago, but I did research paper about it, and researched their, like, market and what they do. And that's what I found. So even though they're, like, marketed as family-friendly, that's not their target audience. Which is kind of interesting. So I think it might just be, like, they're appealing to, like, the vast majority, but their target is just different. Like I said, this is, like, my information from when I was in college, so... 5-ish years ago. But yeah, I was surprised to learn that then. Anywho, after a while, he rests his back against a nearby house, tapping his foot like he's waiting for something.
Okay, Monarch, you're not going to believe this. I got some information about my parents the other day. After pulling a few strings, I was able to set up a meeting.
And Monarch, I need you to hold this. And he puts the knife in my chest. I already talked to quite a few former Nintendo people during college. Oh, interesting. This is actually a huge deal. I'm really happy for him.
As far as I know, it's just my dad. I think my mom was under the weather or something.
Oh, he's being
But
scammed.
at this point, I'll take whatever I can get. I'm so excited!
I am 99% sure he's being
I'll finally
scammed.
get to ask him what happened. Do you think I have any brothers or sisters? Wait, don't answer that. I'll keep my hopes low.
He has a huge smile on his face, and I can understand why. He's literally falling for free armor trimming, but it's free parent seeing. This is something he's been looking forward to for his entire life. The ability to meet his parents and find out why they abandoned him.
I almost don't believe this is happening. For the last decade, I've had eyes and ears everywhere. People run around Museo gathering information for me to sell. I prefer to do all the work myself, but anything extra is a huge benefit. I'm good at selling, so they provide the info, and then we share the profit. When we got back from Alarincia, one of them had a bunch of stuff to share. And one of them was the one piece of information I've been waiting to hear. My parents were alive and living in Museo all those years, and they were so close. I bought the information from him myself. I paid more than I have for anything else in my life.
How do I do... whatchamacallit? No, I don't want to run an ad. I want to do that thing where you run a poll. Or no, not a poll, but the betting thing with the channel points. I don't know how to set that up. I don't want to do that. I don't... Ah, predictions! Channel point predictions. Aha! That's the word I was looking for. Yeah! Let's see. I see. I can add a panel. I'm going to add a prediction here because I want to have a little bit of fun here. Is Pro getting scammed or not? That's what the prediction's going to be. There we go. Let's see. Ah. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I can't have it that long. Okay. Yeah, I guess 30 seconds is fine. Start prediction. Got it. Alrighty. Well, there goes the prediction. Anyway, well, free armor trimming means no, he's getting scammed. By the way, well, thanks for hanging out, Hoodie. You have a good night. Okay.
But you can't put a price on this kind of stuff, you know? My future and my heart is on the line. This is a big deal. I hope we don't have to wait too much longer. I'm nervous.
That much was made evident by his constant rambling. I press my back against the wall with him, and we wait together. We talk about random subjects, anything to pass the time, for now. But after a while, finding topics to discuss becomes a little harder. That's not because our bond is weak, but because we've run out of topics. The time of the meeting approached. We were there super early. Oh, approached and then faded away. Nobody arrived.
I guess he's running a bit late. It happens. I can't hold it against him.
Oh, he's huffing some copium. He smiles. It's an incredibly nervous smile. He knows deep down inside that his words may not be true. A couple more hours pass, but I don't abandon his side, not even once.
Any moment now.
Oh. After a while, we slump down and sit on the ground. His naive hope starts to dissipate into a harsh realization. But I can tell that he doesn't want to admit it. So we continue to sit. As the sun sets, people start to retreat to their homes. I can tell that he's tired, and so am I. I close my eyes for a few moments. It wouldn't hurt to doze off for a little bit. In the middle of the feckin' market. I just need to make sure I don't leave him. I awaken a while later, unsure of the time, but it's dark. It must be the dead of night. Bro rests beside me, snoring softly, asleep. I know that in his slumber he doesn't have to face the facts. His dad never came, but why? Was he too afraid to follow through? Pearl had a smile on his face. I can tell that he's still hopeful even in his sleep. But he can't sleep forever. He needs to wake up and face this. Giving him a soft nudge, he wakes up, but then my heart is broken. He thinks I woke him up because his dad arrived. He looks around ecstatic, but then realizes it's just me and him. His ears fold back and he laughs, almost like he's not surprised. I knew that this would be hard for him to face, but he was abandoned again.
I guess I should have expected this.
He sighs and crosses his arms.
You know, I thought I'd give them the option. They could come meet me when they were ready and willing. Other than that, my only option was to just march into their home.
Oh.
Of course, my courtesy just ends up stabbing me in the back. He said he'd be here, Monarch. He said he would. And I trusted him!
He growls and punches the nearby wall in a fit of rage.
It's not fair!
He grunts in pain and stands there panting. A few tears start to stream from his eyes.
Why don't they love me?
I step forward and place a comforting arm on his shoulder. He starts crying a bit more, but I let him know that I'm here for him.
I just wanted a family. More than anything, I want to belong. It hurts so much that they don't want me.
God damn it, Tech.
I want to know why they threw me away. It's all I've ever wanted to know. It's why I do what I do. I don't know if I can live the rest of my life without knowing the truth.
Yeesh. Now that dog could use some bees. Be puffed up. Or something, I don't know. He starts to calm down, and soon enough the tears fade. I can tell he's super conflicted. He really wants to meet his parents, but if they don't want to meet him, there's really nothing he can do. It was cruel to schedule a meeting and then not follow through. His dad must have gotten cold feet, or maybe his mother needed attention. Under the weather could have any number of meanings, not many of them good. Either way, it's evident that his pursuit of the truth is causing him more harm than not. If he wasn't meant to know the truth, then perhaps he should focus on moving forward. After all, he had a loving family in the rebellion. We would never abandon him like this.
I just don't know what I should do.
Well, I think this answer is obvious. Let him go, Pro. You have a true family with the rebellion. Left behind. I tell him to let go of his parents. He has a true family in all of his allies. Blood isn't what makes you family. It's love, acceptance, and understanding. If his parents wouldn't give him that, then perhaps he should be abandoning them.
Let them go?
He seems surprised, like nobody has suggested this to him before.
I know, you're right. I've tried, but it's really hard. What happened here today might change things, though. After everything I've tried, maybe this is the wake-up call I needed. Thanks, Monarch.
He smiles at me. I'm glad I could help him, even if it's only a little bit.
So, should we get going then? I guess you have a lot of things to do. Given that, I'm really glad that you came with me. I don't know how I would have handled this alone. Having you by my side, it makes me stronger. And if there's anything I need right now, it's strength.
You have earned Pro's loyalty. With that, we start to walk away from town square. It pains me to see him go through this. Nobody should feel abandoned. But at the end of the day, he had people like me to stand by his side and help. So no matter what happened, he'd never be alone. Yeah, that really was sad. Alright, Pro acquired. Ulrich, you're next. View Ulrich's loyalty scene. Yeah. Honestly, a decent spot to stop.